Yo, I love this song. Who else loves this song? How can you not love Christmas, Yule, and that song? What's up, guys? Adam Green here with No More News. Thank you all for joining me. Today, Monday, December 22nd, 2025. The year's almost over. Probably not going to be too many more streams. I don't know. If we hit the goal today, for sure we'll stream tomorrow. There's no way I'm getting to everything I have prepared and want to talk about with you guys. We got huge stuff to cover today. So many clips, so many tabs. Also, I'm going to have to do some type of Christmas special this year, maybe about the fake nativity story and how it's all based on scripture and prophecy and never happened. You know, it's funny. I was watching some Christmas stuff on the TV the other night, and then up comes a commercial or a trailer, an advertisement for the new Jesus cartoon movie. It's called The Star. And I watched it with my young daughter, who has recently heard about Jesus a little more. At first, she just saw candles at the store and knew that Jesus was Jewish somehow. And then we were going around all the cathedrals, and everywhere in Germany there were crucifixes everywhere, Jesus everywhere. So she figured out who Jesus was. I go, "You want to watch the Jesus movie, honey?" And she says, "No, too scary." Too scary after she saw the trailer. I thought that was hilarious. So we're going to be covering TPUSA cringe today. Some of the latest Candace Owens fallouts. We've got this new popular YouTuber named Professor Zhang. We're going to get into some of the stuff he's been covering, which I find I'm taking issue with, as well as something I think he gets right. But tons of stuff today. We hit the goal. Powerchat.live/no more news. The link's in the description below and over pinned to the top of the live chat, where we're streaming on Rumble and Odysee. Kick, if you're over on Kick. X as well. So we can stream tomorrow as well. I'll get that turned on in just a minute after the first clip. Every dollar helps. Can't do it without you. First clip. Now, the TPUSA Christian Cringefest. It's not Amfest. It's Christian Cringefest. Hardly anything illustrates already. I talk for a minute and already my head cold is kicking in and my sinuses are filling with yellow-green mucus. Sorry to gross you out, folks, once again. But hardly anything illustrates the Christian problem more than a TPUSA event. Every year, not just after Charlie assassinated. This is how it's always been. The Jew flu. It's not the Jew flu. It's the Germany flu, if anything. I caught it the day after I got back.
Someone asked me, are Jews trying to take over the world? I'd say, well, a Jew already did. The fact that...
He means Jesus.
If someone asked me, are Jews trying to...
Oh, my God. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus.
Oh, Jesus Christ, you're such a little bitch.
Oh, Jesus the Jew already took over the world. It's the butt of the joke. Just outrageous. It's just outrageous. Come on. Couldn't be any more vindicated, actually.
To take over the world, I'd say, well, a Jew already did.
So they all laugh about it. It's all fun and games for the Philo-Semites. But if I say that Jesus is a Jewish myth that took over the world, oh, then you're Mr. Anti-Semite, right? And blacklisted everywhere.
If someone asked me, are Jews trying to take over the world? I'd say, well, a Jew already did. The fact that...
Come on! Just disgusting. Amalek says, this guy, what is this, Steve Douche, says, you are not allowed, if you're a Christian, you're not allowed to be an anti-Semite. Jerk face, poopy face.
Clear, and let's just set one term of the debate. Regardless of what we prophetically think Romans 9 through 11 happens to mean.
The most kosher books of the New Testament, chapters of the New Testament.
And there have been great minds all throughout the history of the church.
Steve Douche.
Agree on this. The one thing Romans 9 through 11 makes very clear, the one thing St. Paul himself, the Hebrew of Hebrews, makes very clear.
Jew of Jews.
My final position is this. You are not allowed, Jesus does not allow you to be an anti-Semitic jerk face. Thank you.
Look at these guys, dude. Maroon shirt, quick, call Candace. Somebody deliver the important message to Candace's tip line. Maroon shirt, I think he's in on it. He's right, though. The thing is that he's right.
Final position is this. You are not allowed, Jesus does not allow you to be an anti-Semitic jerk face. Thank you.
Anti-Semitic jerk face. They always try to, he sounds like Bear. They always try to like bludgeon you and browbeat you with the Christianity, and then they all promote Christianity and the greatest servants of Israel and everybody buying into the chosen people delusion. All are Christians and Muslims. Is it not obvious what this is? What Christianity does? This guy sounds like Bear. Just your average run-of-the-mill Christian.
You damn right I love the Jews. Absolutely. 100%. Because I'm a Christian. Jesus.
How dare he call us a jerk face? Hey, Carlin.
So you damn right I stand with the Jews. 100%.
That's right. Yes, Carlin. Jesus is Jewish. Like the booth at TPUSA said, Jesus is Jewish. So cut it out, you evil Christian heretics, Satanists, fake Christians. Stop being jerk faces. Here's Charlie Kirk's pastor, ultra-Zionist. See Through It All asks, what kind of nihilistic goy slop is this?
Ladies and gentlemen, everyone you love will die. Everything you build will crumble. Everything you say will be forgotten.
Not true.
Everything you do will come to...
Optics Prime, no noise. Maybe it'll kick in a second. Sometime it glitches out. On the road to California to visit family. Merry Christmas. You don't get a very Christmassy looking Christmas in California, unless you're in the mountains, I guess. But that's cool, Optics Prime. Safe drive. Not sure why that's not playing or frozen on the screen.
Everything you do will come to nothing.
Oh my God, talk about demoralizing. Wipe out the seed of Amalek includes all non-Jews. That's a little debatable. And contradictory. It doesn't always say that necessarily. The rabbis don't always say that either, but they do sometimes. And it is written sometimes that that's the only takeaway. So yes, true.
Say will be forgotten.
How can you say everything you say will be forgotten? That's not true. That's stupid. Every dead person, everybody's forgot what they said. Yeah, but without Jesus and the Jews, we wouldn't have any morals, right? And you're just worthless. I haven't watched this. I already know where it's going.
Will be forgotten.
Jesus is all that matters.
Everything you do will come to nothing.
Well, then what's the point of doing anything? What's the point of doing or saying anything if none of it matters? All that matters is the King of the Jews, the Jewish Messiah, Jesus Christ.
And your identity will die and vanish. Your life is meaningless unless the resurrection is true.
Oh my
Ladies
God.
and
Dude, this is just, what's the word? Not disgusting, despicable, unbelievable. I can't believe it. They got this guy up on stage saying this type of garbage. You're nothing you do matters. Everybody's going to die. They call us nihilists. Life is meaningless without the Yom Kippur sacrifice of the Son of God, without the magic blood and the crucifixion and the Jews killing their Messiah. Life is meaningless. Yeah, why is he even up on stage talking about this stuff? Dude, Christianity is a poison. It's a mind poison. It's so subversive. This is the Christian influence now, huh? Hitler hated Christ, thinks that's the most base thing ever. Well, you could be a nihilist slave hating life if it's not for the Jews and their mythological story, dude. That's on you.
And 67 cent $5, did you know? Jesus' mother's name is not Mary. Its original name that was translated into English was Miriam.
Yes, I did know that. Not really too big of a secret. Lots of people know that. See Through It All says people were quote tweeting this like crazy, saying, "What's the problem?" Were they really? Shout out See Through It All for always the best clips. He probably didn't. Nobody else posted this clip, huh? They all post the other ones, but then they'll actually help cover up and suppress and turn a blind eye to the worst of the worst. Christ slop. Fawn. Why is this not playing? I don't understand. He says Catholics believe the New Testament supersedes the Old. You know what I'm going to try to do? I'm sick. I can't be reading every one of these. Let's just try to replay it in a second here. Now, See Through It All has another one. How bad of an argument is this? Oh, wait, these are the retweets. That's right. We're looking at the retweets. Yeah, Miriam is also Adelson's wife name, yes. Everyone will die. Everything you build will crumble. Everything you say will be gotten. Everything you do will become nothing. Your life is meaningless unless the resurrection is true. Poison. A well-spoken summary of the core concept of Christianity. Wow. See Through It All struggles to understand. Dude, these are so stupid. Joel Berry retweeted. I guess this is a real Christian then. Everybody's confirming this is a real Christian. Joel Berry has me blocked of Babylon B says, this is the Apostle Paul from 1 Corinthians in the New Testament. Yeah, we know. And you don't see how this is a problem? It degrades the importance of the one true life we know we have. And degrades it to be like a pit stop, a bus stop, a layover before your eternity in heaven with your robe and your harp worshiping the Jewish God. That's all that matters. This world is not important. Collect your treasures in the afterlife that we don't even have any proof exists, besides your feels and your hopes. Let's hear this. I want to see some more of these. This is the gospel. Spirit flu. Roman Khazar slave religion. No, wrong. Adam Fitzgerald gets it right at least. That must be a new one because I think we blocked each other. Why this type of religion fails? Yet another groiper who hasn't even basic knowledge of Christianity. See Through It All. Total groiper. Christ cuck brain coping about See Through It All being a groiper. Joel Berry does like fighting you, See Through It All. I've noticed that a lot. This is the gospel. Yes, we know. They say that like, oh, this is just Christianity, like that makes it okay or something. Coping. Straight quoting Paul. Yeah, I know, exactly. Yeah, Paul the Pharisee telling all the Gentiles your lives are meaningless without God killing himself and then raising himself from the dead to save you from the way he made you. Without that absurdity, life doesn't matter. This is the gospel. Literally the gospel. Okay, well, I guess there's no saying this isn't real Christianity then. Nothing matters. Only Rabbi Yeshua and the King of the Jews. All right, here, let's hear this argument.
New Testament. So what is the evidence the resurrection took place?
Oh, this should be good.
You can't trust these Christian sources that you find in the Bible.
Jewish sources. You can't trust these Jewish. I mean, you can trust some Jewish sources, but they're just so obviously mythological. And Paul and all the first layers of the New Testament just like don't even speak of a biographical crucifixion. They say all the earliest attestations of the crucifixion are all completely derived from Scripture, and they say that they are learning it from Scripture, that it was the knowledge of this mystery and the secret hidden message was made manifest through the Scriptures.
So what is the evidence the resurrection took place? I can't trust these Christian sources that you find in the Bible, that you find in the New Testament.
Jewish sources, should have said.
Newsflash, ladies and gentlemen, none of the sources in the New Testament are Christian sources.
Ah, there it is.
They're all Jewish sources.
So we really should believe them. Newsflash, ladies and gentlemen, they're Jewish. That's so funny. I swear to God, I swear on Hashem that I had not seen that part yet. But I should have known it was coming.
None of the sources in the New Testament are Christian sources. They're all Jewish sources. Oh yes, these men became Christians, but they all started as Jews.
Well, that's all, folks. Case closed, says See Through It All. I think I've seen enough. I trust them now.
Why would they invent a resurrected Jesus, a brand new religion that got them kicked out of the synagogue and then
not brand new,
tortured and killed, if it wasn't
religions are always fracturing and splintering off?
True.
Why would they invent it if it's not true? You get the resurrection from the scriptures. You get the crucifixion from the scriptures. Every aspect of what the apostles who never knew an earthly Jesus knew about Jesus was from the scriptures. That was the source. So when they say, "Oh, well, why would the Jews make up a rejected Messiah?" Because they read from the scriptures that the Messiah was to be rejected. That's the point. Rejected and killed as a sacrifice. See Through It All says the Jews wrote it, so it must be true. And it wasn't all Jews wrote this. It was a small sect of mystical proto-Kabbalistic Jews that conceived of this heavenly Messiah figure from the scriptures, from hidden messages and personal private revelations of a mystical figure, a cosmic savior. There's your answer. Need More Amalek says the clips from this have been wild and crazy. So true. So true. Only getting started.
Of mentors and people to guide him.
Pastor Lucas talks about how Charlie was a person of the word, of the word. Here we go.
You want to know what made Charlie Kirk great? He was a person of the word. I saw him many a times reading his Bible, studying, and he sought out for himself mentors and people to guide him.
Like Dennis Prager and the rabbi that he was having his Zoom meeting on the night before he died. Who else? Ben Shapiro. The Christian Zionist at the what is it? National Policy Institute? I'm forgetting the name. What's that big Christian group I always talk about? Oh man, I'm forgetting it. Oh, dude, stuff just goes in one ear. Every time you learn something new, it makes something else go out of your head. What is it called? CNP, Council for National Policy. That's right. He's affiliated with them, and I'm sure many other Dominionist Seven Mountains or whatever it is groups.
Every time I learn something new, it pushes some old stuff out of my brain.
Everybody else have that problem? Every time you go to sleep, you wake up with your brain wiped and defragged, forgetting everything that you thought about yesterday. Not everything.
And it helped shape him into the person that he was and is.
National Policy Institute is Richards. That's not what I meant. Dude, totally wrong. Way off. I need that soundbite. I was way off. What is that from? Dumb and Dumber? Yeah, they're like, oh, what was that girl's name? Bubba Bubba. Dude, that's a soundbite. It's got to go. Watch. I was way off. Dumb and Dumber. New soundboard. Favorite tagline.
Starts with an S. So swimmy. Slippy, Slappy, Swanson? Maybe it's on the briefcase. Look on the... Oh, yeah! It's right here.
Samsonite.
I was way off.
That right there. I was way off. That's got to go in when I get something wrong. Anyways, yeah, that's it. Council for National Policy. Okay, Bryce Crawford. Of course, they got the super cringe Christian TikToker. The guy that goes, I prayed over this guy's knee that like needed surgery, and then he woke up the next day and was like, it's totally healed, bro. He's like, gotta have faith in Rabbi Yeshua.
I don't want to be a passive Christian.
He's so cringe.
And in fact, if there's anything Charlie stood for, it's to be the total opposite of a passive Christian. It's actually, I'm going to stand in the face of adversity because I'm willing to see people know Jesus, because that's more important than experiencing the wounding words of people, the opinions of man.
Oh, dude, just do nothing but shill Jesus and don't listen to everybody that says you're cringe and lame and stupid. Just keep doing it. Just keep spreading it. This is why Christianity inherently built in. It's like a virus where it spreads and mutates to everybody, and every new convert becomes a new recruiter, almost like a pyramid scheme. And this is the type of TikToker where they go into public places and they scream like, everybody got to get saved for Jesus. Yo, the end is near. It's a whole industry on TikTok. This guy's one of the top ones.
The wounding words of people, the opinions of man. Because there is a God.
Only trust the Jews, not the opinions of man. That evil worldly wisdom.
A gatekeep it? No. And 2 Corinthians 5:10 says that every human being is going to stand before God and be held accountable for every action, whether good or bad. No one can run away from the things that they've done. No one can.
What have you done, bro?
Think about your biggest mistakes. You can't run. And if you've been set free by the blood of Jesus and received this beautiful gift from God, and
blood.
You want to gatekeep it?
Dude, don't gatekeep the magic blood. Share that shit. Who's gatekeeping that magic blood? That magic sacrifice blood? Dude, we're in clown world. This is idiocracy. This is Jewish Twilight Zone. This is the conservative politics. It's like a mega church sermon. Every one of these guys with Jewish fairy tale mental illness. What is happening?
Man, I mean, think about your biggest mistakes. You can't run. And if you've been set free by the blood of Jesus and received this beautiful gift from God, and you just want to gatekeep it, no.
Yeah. Christians totally known for gatekeeping Jesus and his magic blood.
In fact, that's the most selfish thing I can do is gatekeep the love of God. I don't want to do that. I have been radically changed. My stone heart ripped out of my body and been given this new life. And if anything, I want everyone to experience this same Jesus. And 2 Corinthians 5.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Every one of these. Greg Laurie, Pastor Greg Laurie is there. See Through It All has posted some of the cringest videos I've ever seen of this guy. This is the guy that goes, I'm not Jewish, but I wish I was. Right? He's like 100% like dirty goy or something. That's what he said, right? See Through It All. If you could pull that one up, I'll play that after this. Or I could look for it too, but I see you're in the chat. You got the Greg Laurie super mega church pastor too. This guy's worth probably tens of millions.
And I would like to lead you in a prayer if you've never asked Jesus Christ to come into your life. If you're not sure right now, and if you were to die, you would go to heaven. See, Charlie.
Dude, I don't want to go to your fake Jewish heaven. See Through It All says Laurie is a self-hating white and uber Zionist. Yeah, of course. So he's on the Turning Point stage. Because there's nothing they hate more than Jesus.
The moment he took his last breath on earth, he took his first breath in heaven. because he put his faith in Christ. And you can have that same relationship with God if you will receive this gift of eternal life. And it's something only you can do. I can't do it for you. Your parents can't do it for you. Your friends can't do it for you. You need to say, Lord, come into my life. So I'm going to pray a prayer you could pray to ask Jesus to come into your life. In fact, here's what I'm going to ask us all to do as we close. I'm going to ask us all to pray this prayer out loud.
Pray Jesus comes into you hard. Pray that Jesus comes into you and fills you up.
Of solidarity for those who are praying it for the first time. It's a simple prayer of asking Christ into your life. So as I pray this prayer, you all pray this out loud after me, okay? Let's all bow our heads. Pray these words after me. Lord Jesus, I know that I'm a sinner.
I know that I'm an evil goyim. I know that I'm an evil, dirty goyim. Impure. And I need the magical sacrifice of the Jewish Messiah to save my soul.
Who died on the cross for my sin and rose again from the dead. Come into my life, Jesus. Forgive me of my sins. I choose to follow you from this moment forward. I turn from my sin and make you the Lord of my life. And thank you for hearing this prayer, Lord, and answering this prayer. In Jesus' name I pray.
Laurei. That's how you spell it? Lau. Yeah, it's not coming up. I searched Greg on See Through It All's page, and all I got was Greg Locke. I searched Lori, and it's not coming up. Maybe that's why See Through It All hasn't put anything in the chat either. I really wanted to find, maybe if I search born, because he says like he was born a Gentile. God, it's the best clip ever. I wanted to play it. Where is it? If I search Gentile, there's going to be way too many videos. He's just like 100%. Oh, there it is. Boom.
I met Netanyahu in Israel.
Maybe not.
It's funny because I was with a bunch of
5
pastors,
minutes.
and the guy who invited me said, I want you to ask a question of the prime minister. Well, I was very excited, and I was very nervous. And so,
why were you nervous?
Because he's the prime minister of Israel. And
you're an ambassador of Jesus Christ.
I know, but I was nervous. Okay, what can I say? I heard somewhere, and I found out I saw that as a compliment. But Jesus Christ, I am white trash.
There it is.
23andMe attest. First friend of Israel is the evangelical Christian. And I think it's so important because I'm not Jewish. I am a Gentile. And when I did my 23andMe test, I was hoping, is there some Jewish blood in me somewhere? And I found out I'm hopelessly Gentile. I am white trash. I'm
stop.
Well, no, I'm Scottish and Irish. And I said, my love for the Jewish people came after I came into a relationship with Jesus Christ. I was a confused kid going the wrong way in life. I heard about Jesus. I began
Same story every
read
time.
the Bible, learn your history. That's where my love came for you.
Your
and for
history.
the book that came through you, etc.
He's talking to a Jew.
After I was done speaking, a number of them said, why don't you come on our team? So I saw that as a compliment. But
dude, it's so bad. The situation is so serious. Amazing. What a cuck. He says this over and over again, too. That clip is by your pin post, Jack Stone. Give me the link. Dude, why are these not playing? Hold on, let's do this. I forgot. Let's see if this plays. Dude. TTS is great when it works.
And I said, you even sent $5. Did you know? Jesus' mother's name is not Mary. Its original name that was translated into English was Miriam.
True, Miriam. Okay, I think with this one too. Oh my God. Pastor Lucas Miles opening prayer at AmFest.
Your word alone.
Did we hear this one?
May you tear down every vain imagination. Let's pray. Jesus.
Anybody heard of this guy?
You're the king.
Pastor. You're the king.
And we're not.
You're the Moshiach and we're nothing.
We seek to submit ourselves to your word and your word alone.
Submit ourselves to the Jews and the Jewish word alone.
May you tear down every vain imagination.
Don't use your brains.
Focus our attention on you. And may your word and your kingdom and your light and your glory bring unity.
Your Zionist kingdom.
First in your church, and then in this movement, and ultimately in this world. We love you. Amen. Let's pray. Jesus, you're the King.
Okay. Angela Halili. Never heard of her, but she's doing the line.
The Holy Spirit is literally the one who empowers us and emboldens us to go out and preach the name of Jesus. When you read the Old Testament, you continuously see the Holy Spirit coming upon and filling the disciples and filling them with boldness and wisdom and revelation to effectively communicate the gospel in such a profound way. And it makes no sense given that they were so unqualified. So if you're in this room and you feel unqualified or fearful or timid or shy.
A lot of unqualified Christ brains out there. Regurgitating their apologist lies. Hey, if you don't know anything, if you've never read one single book, if you don't know the Bible, just be bold and just pretend like Jesus is king. Is it Girls Gone Bible? I think it is.
And you feel
I don't know. They're making these in factories, so there's a whole lot of these probably.
Unqualified or fearful or timid or shy. You have not been given a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. And that is yours to receive.
Doubt.
The Holy Spirit.
She has your attention? Yeah, I'm sure she does. She's got all the incels' attention. Keenan Clark. The message tonight is simple. Let's dumb it down for the goy. What do we need? The Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit, our magical Jewish Casper the Friendly Ghost.
To rise up in this day. My message tonight is super simple. You need the Holy Spirit. That's my message.
Dude, this is their outreach.
We need spirit-led men and women of God to rise up in this day. My message tonight is super simple. You need the Holy Spirit.
See through it all, found it, and sent it in DMs? Okay, hold on. Let's find it. I saw Jack shared it too. Where's Jack? Let's play Greg Laurie.
I have some Jewish blood. I have none. Everything we have came through the Jewish people. I'm not Jewish. I wish I was. I did one of those 23andMe tests. I was hoping, I have some Jewish blood. I have none. I'm just pathetically white.
Dude,
Irish, English, white trash. That's what I am. But I've grown to have a love for the Jewish people from my study of Scripture. And when I was invited to speak at the Museum of Tolerance right after the horrible attack on Israel with a Jewish audience, I told them everything I have has come to me through the Jewish people. My Bible has come through the Jewish people. My Messiah came through the Jewish people.
No, and then the Christians just cope and go, no. Like online, they're like, no such thing as Judeo-Christian. Jesus wasn't Jewish. Cope. While they just carry on, while they just keep marching the ball down the field, in the red zone, into the end zone. And you just keep coping online and lying. And ultimately running cover and enabling it all.
Every good thing we know, all the things we love about the Bible, they were given to us of the Jewish nation. Israel, their people, the Jews, are better than all of us. They're better than all of us. And you need to accept that. When Jesus said salvation is of the Jews, he was right.
He manned
All of Christ is someone who worships a Jew. Anti-Semitism in the name of Christianity is a farce. Now, were the Jews opposed to him? Of course they were. Did they disagree with him? Many did. But the entire first century church was Jewish. And the first century Christian church was predominantly Jewish.
I agree that the Torah is the word of God. I agree that the Jews were God's chosen people.
When it comes to who is a Jew, well, it's the person who has faith in the ultimate Jew, Christ.
Gentiles were unclean.
Okay. All right. Good mix, Jack. Breaking at the TPUSA main stage. This beta male Christcuck says calls out the Groypers for being anti-Christian incels. See, you're not the real Christians. You say they're not the real Christians. They say you're not the real Christians. And they're all up on the stage. And they're the ones that with all the influence and the massive book deals and the huge studios and the institutional power and the churches, all the real world churches and the Vatican. Stop running cover for it and kicking that can down the road and address the Christian problem.
And one of the reasons we're losing and concerned about losing our young men to voices of nihilism, voices who are out there even as we speak, telling them that seeking a life of family and legacy is, quote, pathetic.
Nick just said that the other day.
The stroller is, quote, pathetic.
Which is kind of interesting. Nick gives them all, like, as much as he gets right, he gives them all of this ammunition that's unnecessary. All of this easy wins to discredit, make it easy for them. Play the villain Esau, you killed Jesus role. The Catholic Esau, Edom antithesis.
Promoting things like being incels, denying the dominion commandment.
Dude, like you weren't an incel in your 20s, bro. Anybody think this guy was getting any pussy in his 20s? Doubt it.
The reason our young men are falling into this abyss that Charlie was trying to rescue them from is because of the older men. And that is the group that I think I am qualified to speak to. So in the final few minutes I have here this afternoon, I want to talk to the older men about what go hard means. Because for too long, we have been too soft.
Dude, this guy talking about being soft? This softy? Oh, he's going to tell us how to be a man. He's going to explain masculine Christianity to us.
Soft.
Okay.
I did a conference call last night with Moms for Liberty, a phenomenal organization. But let me just tell you right now, it is to the shame of our men that this organization even has to exist. Because there were not enough dads for liberty.
Not enough dads for liberty. Good one. Let's see, Parhesia time. Hopefully this plays. I don't know what's the deal. Now they're just not even playing at all. What's the deal? Refresh, maybe? Okay, here's JD Vance says, refuse to denounce anyone. So we covered on the last stream, Ben Shapiro had a big disavowal of Candace and Tucker and Megyn Kelly and Nick Fuentes. Vivek condemned and disavowed Nick Fuentes. There's a lot of Fuentes mentions at this, a lot of disavowing of anti-Semites. There's scandals going around about the fresh and fit guy, what's his name? Myron being there. So JD Vance says he refused to denounce anyone.
You have.
Let's hear this.
When I say that I'm going to fight alongside of you, I mean all of you, each and every one. President Trump did not build the greatest coalition in politics by running his supporters through endless, self-defeating purity tests. He says, make America great again because every American is invited. We don't care if you're white or black, rich or poor, young or old, rural or urban, controversial or a little bit boring or somewhere in between.
It's whether you're a Christian or not a Christian. That's what it actually
People
is.
of every faith come to our banner because they know that the America First movement will make their lives better, and they also know that the Democrats don't care about anything other than maybe transing their kids. America, if you want all of us to be richer,
low-hanging fruit,
safer, and prouder,
white Obama,
you have a home on this team.
Big tent, join our team. Well, they're trying to win elections too. They're all endorsing him, or I shouldn't say all, but TPUSA is strongly endorsing him now for 2028, which is funny because Adelson and the Zionists all want Trump for 2028. Is that going to be a problem? JD Vance says, this is surprising. He said after Charlie died, he stayed up all night digging into the conspiracy theories.
Talked about publicly before, but in the days after Charlie's death, I'll tell you something I haven't talked about publicly before, but in the days after Charlie's death, I struggled a great deal. I'm sure many of you did too. I remember watching every video of the assassination, looking for clues, trying to understand what happened. I'd try to hide my friend and that terrible bullet hitting him, but I would try to look around. I stayed up all night for many nights in a row, researching every conspiracy theory, going down every rabbit hole. When my lovely wife Usha told me to come,
he's like, dude, I stayed up all night watching Candace Owens and Stu Peters, man. All night learning about the drones shooting him, or the microphone blowing up, or him being electrocuted, or the guys with the hand signals and the arm palm guns. All night he stayed up looking at it. All night he was like, is Erica Kirk actually involved?
Bed, I told her I owed it to Charlie to try to uncover every stone, and so that's what I tried to do.
Sounds like something the assassin would say. Nicki Minaj calls him an assassin, and they all like turn around and look. It's an awkward moment.
I remember I was consumed by this fear that Charlie's death wouldn't just deprive a family of their husband or of a good father, but that it would deny our movement of a great unifier of people and a great doer of great deeds. It's the only time I can remember my wife ever telling me that she was really worried about me. She told me it many times.
He's like, I don't know, it might be an inside job. It might have been Israel. He's like, did Bibi do it? What about the Egyptian plane? What about the plane that took off with no transponder? What about the maroon shirts? Like, what about I'm trying to think of every other, what am I missing? I wonder if he caught no more news. Probably not. I doubt it. I feel like he probably really didn't spend nights doing the conspiracy internet Twitter thing. You couldn't avoid it. It's not my timeline was full of it after that too. Whenever some big event like that happens, there's always everything's a hoax. Everybody's an actor. Nothing real ever happens. People go mad online. You know what I thought about the other day too? As soon as I saw the footage, I heard about him getting shot and then saw the footage. My initial thought was it was a leftist. Anybody else? Ian Carroll was blaming Israel before the body was even cold, like day one, before they even captured the shooter. But wasn't that everybody's initial thought? Like, oh, it's probably a leftist. I thought it was somebody like right there in the crowd, or the guy that asked the question, because he asked like, "What do you think about trans violence?" And he was like, and then it was like, pop. Skunky Tron says that's exactly what a fake. Yeah, I doubt he really did go through it. He's just saying like, guys, I investigated him and I don't believe him. Like that's what he's trying to say. Like I looked into it. My Doc Jake Holiday says his first thought was Antifa. Yeah. Me too. My first thought was trans, actually. A trans leftist Antifa. Because it happened during the trans question. Before we even knew it was somebody on the roof, I thought it was somebody like in the crowd, like asked the question and bang.
But what saved me was not lying to myself, but accepting the reality of the fight that we're in. Charlie's death was an immense loss, an irreplaceable loss. We got kicked in the teeth, my friends, and there's no sugarcoating it or pretending that it didn't happen. We need to accept that. And what saved me was realizing that the story of the Christian faith, like the story of these United States of America, is one of immense loss followed by even bigger victory.
Donald Trump also says he's not gonna. Hold on. Oh, no. Talking about having discourse, but only between Steve Bannon, Tucker, and Shapiro. I'm sure he would not include Nick in that discourse. We'll see.
We fought the mainstream media. People couldn't even get basic truth out there. What binds us together, what matters more than the disagreement is the ability to have that discourse. The real enemy, it's not Steve Bannon or Tuck.
Where's any discourse about the Bible being real? Do they ever have that discourse? No, never. That's the one thing that's above being questioned and discussed. Discourse, question everything, but not this Jewish religion that they all practice, following a Jewish Messiah.
Enemy? It's not Steve Bannon or Tucker Carlson or Ben Shapiro. It's the radical left that murdered Charlie and celebrated it on a daily basis.
Amalek says when he first saw Charlie got shot, he knew it immediately. It was aliens. Here's Vivek Ramaswamy saying that there's no such thing as a heritage American. He's just as American as you and I, even though his parents both came here illegally when they had him.
Emergent in certain court about criticizing the woke left. Now let me get to the harder part. There's a different vision of American identity that's emergent in certain corridors of the online right.
Oh, and by the way, Charlie Kirk said the same thing. I don't have the tweet in front of me, but I saw it recently. Charlie Kirk would completely disavow and disagree with this statement right here.
And it says that your identity as an American...
Yo, Big Tech is in the chat. Big Tech is alive still? In the Rumble chat. Shout out Big Tech, dude. Miss you, dude. Let's do a stream soon, bro.
...is based on your lineage. That how long you have been in the country, your lineage and your genetics tied to the blood and soil of the country determines how American you are. It is the idea of a heritage American.
Yeah, the longer your people have had roots in America, the more American you are. Yes, that is a thing. This is not true.
That says the truest form of an American is somebody who is a descendant of the American Revolution period or before. And I will tell you, this idea of the heritage American, we ought to have this discussion. It's becoming more popular. I think the idea of a heritage American is about as loony as anything the woke left has actually put up.
Dude, this guy pops on the scene. He does a super shady criminal pump and dump on some, I was thinking, Alzheimer's drug that didn't work. He had his mom help rig the numbers so that it could pass some approval, and then he went on Fox News and hyped it, and then it went up and then collapsed, and he became super rich. And now this would be as stupid as a white person going to India, being there for one generation, and then trying to get into politics and say, we're just as Indian as you are. You don't have any heritage. He's trying to win in Ohio with this type of rhetoric?
The idea of a heritage American is about as loony as anything the woke left has actually put up. There is no American who is more American than somebody else. The American quality, it's not like the left, they believe in this non-binary stuff. There's no non-binary American. It is binary. Either you're an American or you're not.
Well, is that why everybody's called African American, Mexican American, Jewish American? You know? Is that why we have those terms?
And you think about it, I could prove this to you.
See Through It All says Big Tech is high off the Jesus juice. We'll have to see if that's true. That'll be a little disappointing. We'll have to see how doped up he is. If he's becoming a full-blown Jesus junkie, we'll have to see. We'll have to find out on the on the stream.
Thank you. I'll take some applause on that.
You can applaud for me.
If you really believe in this idea, think about where it leads you. It leads you to believe that Donald Trump is less of an American than Joe Biden because Donald Trump's mother was an immigrant and his grandfather was an immigrant. That doesn't make any sense. It leads you to believe that somehow Bernie Sanders is more of an American than Senator Bernie Moreno from my home state, an America First patriot, because Bernie Moreno was a naturalized citizen from Colombia. It makes you think that Marco Rubio, our great Secretary of State, is somehow less of an American than Elizabeth Warren because she's a Native American, which we all know, right? Doesn't make any sense. It's loony. It's crazy talk. It makes you believe that somehow I am less of an American than the transgender criminal who assassinated Charlie Kirk. We refuse to accept that. The idea that a heritage American is more American than another American is un-American at its core. And I will fight to the very end for that, because that's what it means to be an American. We believe in ideals. That is who we are.
Dude, I wish I could see the Charlie Kirk tweet. I don't have it prepared anywhere. Maybe it's in here. Not that Charlie Kirk is the arbiter of, reality or anything, but it's not in the thread apparently, but he completely disagreed with this. Okay, let's see. Next, Steve Bannon rips into Ben Shapiro. Let's see some of this.
Shapiro is like a cancer, and that cancer spreads. It's a cancer and it metastasizes. He tried to take over Breitbart and I ran him out of there. He tried to take over David Horowitz's, who was his mentor. Don't ask me. Ask the guys associated with David Horowitz what he did there. He tried to take that over. And Mark.
I saw them on Twitter disputing that. One of the guys that worked at Horowitz. Why would Ben Shapiro want to take over a Zionist thing anyway? Horowitz was a big Zionist. Yeah, this is ironic coming from Bannon, who's a Christian Zionist clown show. I saw people that worked for Horowitz disputing this, and they're like, we were concerned that Ben was going to leave, not take it over. Is this the Charlie Kirk tweets? Here we go. Perfect. Even better, a clip. Let's hear Charlie.
People at all? If you are only a propositional people and you are not a people at all, if you're just a proposition and not a people, you don't have a nation. If you're just an idea, I used to believe this garbage like 10 years ago. America is just an idea.
Remember he said, America is just a placeholder for ideas. I played it last stream. He's like, I used to believe this garbage until he was trolled and relentlessly.
Like 10 years ago. America is just an idea. Not true. If you are only a propositional people and you are not a people at all.
Good one. From Keith Woods. Good find. Good job. Need more Amalek. Ben Shapiro chides employee for saying that there's idea of ancestral basis to American identity. Like, it was a European colony. To deny that the New World was discovered and colonized by the British and Europeans.
My word. He will make a move on Turning Point because he's always been envious of Charlie Kirk.
Whoa.
Shapiro is like a cancer.
Whoa, big accusations. Here's more.
A better defender of Israel. You can't get a better defender of Israel than Charlie Kirk. You can't get a better defender of Israel than Steve Bannon. At Breitbart, adamant, couldn't have a two-state solution. In the White House, I'm the one that pushed initially hard to move the embassy to Jerusalem.
Yes, super based.
Ask all the war room people that are here. Ask all the
Yeah, you were also buddy with Epstein and groveled to Sheldon Adelson.
We always talk about it, and we're one state, not a two-state. But that's about Israel.
Yeah, he said they're one state and a Christian state.
It's not about greater Israel, and it's not about Israel first. Charlie Kirk had some foundational beliefs. Those foundational beliefs are, number one, he's a populist nationalist. America makes its own decisions for America. And as a populist, the American people are the people that make those decisions. You can't get a better defender of Israel than Charlie Kirk.
Okay.
You can't get a better defender.
Let's see. I think this one might be the same or different.
David Horowitz, what he did there.
No, this is the same one.
Take that over. And mark my word, he will make a move on Turning Point because he's always been envious of Charlie Kirk.
Make a move on Turning Point?
Shapiro is like.
So Megyn Kelly tells Jack Posobiec why she no longer considers Ben Shapiro a friend.
And I've been he thinks he's in a position to decide who must say what to whom and when. Thank you. So I don't think we are friends anymore. I've been a very good friend to Ben. Nobody knew who the heck Ben Shapiro was when I started putting him on my shows on the Fox News channel. And I helped make him a star. And I've been very, very good to Ben over the years, and he's been good to me too. He just recently came on my tour, as did you. And I gave him the most kind introduction I could possibly give him because I know that he's losing subscribers a lot. And so I tried to do something nice for him by giving him a long 10-minute intro and personally vouching for him. And we mixed it up on Israel out on stage. It wasn't Israel because we're on the same place on Israel. We mixed it up over whether Tucker Carlson should be excommunicated from the conservative movement, which I do not believe. And thank you. And when it was over, we hugged, said goodbye, and then we had a nice text exchange a couple days later saying our friendship was important to us. And the next thing I saw was him attacking me on stage last night as a coward. So that's not friendship, and I think that's fine with me.
It's funny how Ben Shapiro is like one of the first speeches, opening night, and then he trashes everybody, and then the rest of the event turns into everybody responding and calling him out. I don't think this dispute is going to go down. So here is Candace responding to Ben Shapiro calling her out at Cringefest.
I'm done with it.
She's done.
When Candace Owens says, I don't know, but I know, that is retarded. And we are all more retarded for having heard it.
True.
Well, Ben, when it comes to you and having worked with you, I just know the tactics that you use to feign popularity in the public. I just know the amount of money that you are willing to spend on advertising to inflate your numbers to make people think that you're popular. So,
especially on Facebook and YouTube, they were doing huge deals where everybody else was getting censored. They were collaborating straight hard with YouTube and Facebook. Big Tech says she's right. He's right. She's retarded. Yeah. When you say, I don't know, but I know, you're retarded. When you say, I don't know how to play chess, but I'm a chess master, you're retarded. When you say, everything is a feel, or you think Charlie came to you in a dream, and that's how you know, you're retarded. It's funny, she goes, when she worked with Ben Shapiro, I recall her saying that she never really did work with Shapiro. They were both worked for Daily Wire, but her studio was somewhere else. She wasn't around the office. She didn't see him much. I remember her saying that at another point. Now she's Ben Shapiro expert, apparently.
You use to feign popularity in the public. I just know the amount of money that you are willing to spend on advertising to inflate your numbers to make people think that you're popular. So, yeah. I don't know.
I like Ben Shapiro normalizing retard too. Need more Amalek. Yes. We need to hold on to the retard slur. No more of this political correct, neurodivergent type of talk.
I have to say we don't know when it comes to you. You are such a joke of a little man. Your jealousy against Tucker, your ability to believe that you can keep manipulating the markets. You know those kids booed you on that stage. The amount of messages I got from Turning Point USA people saying what is
Hold on. It was way quieter when, to be fair, we could do the comparison. It was way quieter when Bannon was calling out Ben Shapiro than Shapiro calling you a retard.
Happening? Why is he on this stage standing against everything that Charlie believed in?
What?
Standing against everything that Charlie believed in. Because you weren't.
What? Didn't Charlie do an interview with Ben Shapiro like a few weeks before he died? Like he hasn't been working with Ben Shapiro for years. Where is it? Hold on. They all been doing this stupid bullshit. It's lying about Charlie Kirk always being a Zionist. Oh my God, I have so much stuff. Let's see. Shoot. Okay, we'll just get to that later.
His friend. He didn't like you for that very reason. I look at you and I just think you are such a little worm. I could see you right now, probably.
So Charlie didn't like him, but he was always glazing him and working with him, and collaborating with him, shilling him. That kind of makes Charlie a fraud, a two-faced, grifting, sellout fraud.
I could see you right now, probably. What can we get out to her? We're going to sue her into bankruptcy again, right? Sue her for every infraction, every word that I don't like, and every time my feelings are hurt.
Yeah, so you're telling me Charlie secretly hated Ben Shapiro, which she did show a text message between them where he was throwing some shade at Shapiro and talking a little shit. But I'm sure he also called her anti-Semitism like mind rot or something like that.
Because you weren't his friend. He didn't like you for that very reason. I look at you and I just think you are such a little worm. I could see you right now, probably.
That's true.
What can we get out to her? We're going to sue her into bankruptcy again, right? Sue her for every infraction, every word that I don't like, and every time my feelings are hurt. Because what you really believe in is Baal Berith. That's what your people believe in. What? You believe that you are contract lords and that people are not allowed to violate contracts or you will ruin them for years.
Baal Berith?
And you,
yeah, that's kind of the law. You're not allowed to violate contracts. That's not a Ben Shapiro thing. That's just like a law thing.
Effectively stalk and...
Ben Shapiro, if you can hear us, please sue this retarded bitch. Yeah. I've been hoping everybody sues her so she shuts up and goes away. Candace should start chipping out, yeah.
Harass them for years after. I'm here to let you know that I'm done with it. I am done with it. This one is so fully off of the mother effing plantation. Truly, Ben Shapiro, fuck you and the midget horse that you rode in on. And I say that on behalf of the world. I know you're going to get applauded by Konstantin Kisin and Andrew Christ is King Clavin and all of the people, the men who have to keep applauding what you do like you're a 4-year-old to make you feel good. But the rest of the world can't stand you. You're obnoxious. You have absolutely no values that exist outside of the Talmud. You describe yourself as a Talmudic Jew. And I've learned what's in that Talmud, and I encourage other people at home to learn what is in that Talmud so that you know what Ben thinks of you, because he doesn't just hate me, he hates you too, white men. He hates all black people, okay? If he's following the rules of the Talmud, I mean, when I say...
That'll probably be a lawsuit. He hates all black people. They're saying, I hadn't heard of this book before, but they're saying that this is some old book where tons of stuff, I think it's fake quotes and out of context stuff, highly criticized. It's probably that this may be the source for some of the memes that have errors and things are out of context. I'm sure it's probably like the worst critique. It's probably just kvetching about what it says about Jesus, like normal Christian controlled op slop.
That you know what Ben thinks of you, because he doesn't just hate me, he hates you too, white men. He hates all black people, okay? If he's following the rules of the Talmud, I mean, when I say hates, they think that we're animals, that they have a right to own us, that they have a right to make us worship them, that they have a right to lie to us.
Yeah, and you do worship the King of the Jews. They want you to worship the Messiah and acknowledge like the chosen people. And as a Catholic, you do that. So great job, Miss Defiance. Big Tech says another Ben W.
That they have a right to sue us and take everything that we have. That they have a right to deceive us.
Yeah, she's not waking people up though. It's going to be the normal limited hangout critique of Talmud. Will she criticize Judaism? Will she criticize the Torah, I should say? If she were to get in a debate, if she were to read that book and get a debate with a Talmudic Jew, she would end up looking foolish. That's what would happen.
Us. That they have a right to treat Charlie the way that he treated Charlie while he was alive, only to then try to defraud the population into thinking that he is somehow a part of his legacy, that he somehow cared about Charlie Kirk and cares to protect the people that are working at Turning Point USA. Goodbye, Ben.
Yeah, good point, Need More Emmerich. There's no such thing as like a religious Jew that's not a Talmudic Jew. Like there's not a non-Talmud, unless they're like atheists, basically. There's not a non-Talmudic Jew. All of Judaism includes the Talmud. They go like, well, if they just believed in the Torah but not the Talmud, then they'd be fine. See, that's where the limited hangout comes in.
Goodbye. The question is, how much more money is Ben Shapiro going to spend to make people think that he's popular? How many more articles is his father going to write under a pen name Hank Berrien of the Daily Wire under the pen name Hank Berrien.
No, Hank, no. He would try to have some goyish name like Hank. You ever met a Jew named Hank? Hank Greenberg. Hank Goldberg.
As he wrote while Ben was at Breitbart, before he turned his back and betrayed them too, because that is his
Hank.
nature.
Yeah, there is a Hank, huh?
One of these belly creatures, sliver on. The question is, how many more weeks?
Belly creatures? Oh, are you calling him a satanic serpent?
Because that is his nature.
They need the Talmud to understand the Torah, right?
One of these belly creatures, sliver on. The question is, how many more weeks and years do we have to keep pretending like Ben Shapiro is relevant?
Everything there was a personal attack. You're short, Talmud bad. Charlie didn't like you. She's not addressing like any of the points. She's big mad. She is big mad. He called her a retard, and everybody knows she's the laughing stock.
To learn what is in that more art, lords, I challenge Black Americans.
Hold on.
More wrote while Ben was.
She talks about Jews being the slave owners
Charlie
too.
Kirk, and
she's going full Nation of Islam.
Try to defraud the population into thinking that he is somehow a part of his legacy, that he somehow cared about Charlie Kirk and cares to protect the people that are working at Turning Point USA. Goodbye.
No, you care about protecting TPUSA. TPUSA, that's why he's speaking at AmFest and they're all denouncing you there, is because you're the one looking out for TPUSA. You're the TPUSA hero. Who do you think Erica Kirk is more happy with right now? Ben Shapiro or Candace Owens? Who do you think? Who told Adam it was a good idea to tell jokes every 10 seconds? It's so cringe. Fuck you, Koo. Nobody told me it was a good idea. I'm just talking. W Jewish slave owners, he says.
Somehow cared about Charlie Kirk and cares to protect the
If Charlie Kirk were in heaven looking down, he would be seething over Candace, and he would be being even more of a Jewish shill.
That are working at Turning Point USA. Goodbye, Ben. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
How much more money is Ben Shapiro going to spend to make people think back and betrayed them too, because that is his nature?
Hold on.
As he wrote while Ben was at Breitbart, before he turned his back and betrayed them too, because that is his nature. He's one of these belly creatures, sliver on.
Belly creatures.
How many
He's a serpent.
Weeks and
He's
years
a snake.
do we have to keep pretending like Ben Shapiro is relevant? Very much. And we fought for to the very end against the Jewish donors who were pressuring him, some of them because Ben Shapiro insisted that they do.
Oh, sure. I believe that, actually.
That is Charlie Kirk's true legacy, and that is Charlie Kirk's true friend, just as I was and am and will continue to fight and ask questions about who killed Charlie Kirk.
Even Alex Jones is saying she's mentally ill now.
I implore you to wake up to these people who believe that they are contract lords. I challenge Black Americans to wake up to your true history, because your quarrel is not with white men, okay? Wake up to who publishes these books and keeps us warring with one another. Christians versus Christians, right? Christians versus Muslims. Wake up and learn the true history of slavery, because that wasn't exactly a white men sport, okay? Jewish people were the ones that
There were no white slave owners.
were trading us. Jewish people were in control of the slave trade. They've buried a lot of it, but it's there.
They did own a lot of the boats and the auctions, and were disproportionate slave owners. But to act like it wasn't also whites is also good luck arguing that one.
That were trading us. Jewish people were in control of the slave trade. They've buried a lot of it, but it's there, and you can find it. I think all of us need to wake up to this, because it's making me absolutely
Black girl versus Kabbalah magic.
He is so bold that he dare sit near Charlie Kirk's chair, that he dare grace that stage when Charlie Kirk knew exactly what Ben Shapiro was and will always be. So again, on your belly, Ben Shapiro.
On your belly. You are that means you are the serpent.
To cheer you on, to pretend like the audiences love you, because you don't have the confidence anymore to go out into the world because you know people see you for what you are. And so it
Ben Shapiro doesn't have confidence. He's basically like the Moshiach. He's probably the biggest narcissist and egomaniac in the world. You think he doesn't have confidence?
exactly what he did yesterday.
He has too much confidence, too much chutzpah, if you ask me.
Now listen to what this imposter said as he hit the stage. You are such a joke of a little man. Your jealousy against Tucker, your ability to believe that you can keep manipulating the markets. Look at you, and I just think you are such...
Just some of the highlights. Very public nervous breakdown. Here's a little more.
Well, I just want to start by saying that it's pretty obvious that Ben Shapiro is terrified. We can all see that now that Charlie Kirk is dead. He seems to be taking multiple stages and demanding an allegiance to Erica Kirk. In fact, it almost seems like he's demanding that nobody inquire further about Erica Kirk. It's odd because Ben had...
It's odd that Ben Shapiro, like everybody else, that isn't a Candace conspiracy kook, thinks it's fucked up to accuse his grieving wife that she was implicated and involved. Oh, yeah, he's having a total breakdown for defending the widow of Charlie while you accuse her of being involved in his murder. And you bring on some kook to say, after you meet with her, you bring on some kook fraud to say he saw her at a military base. Yeah, Ben, it's like when she said, hey, Ben Shapiro is like really defensive about Charlie Kirk. It's like you've been attacking him and throwing aspersions, casting aspersions on everybody for 3 months. And then they respond and you say, pretty defensive.
Almost seems like he's demanding that nobody inquire further about Erica Kirk. It's odd because Ben had...
No, just keep digging into every little thing that she's ever done. Past boyfriends, all type, everything. Just find any little thing you can to weave in and spin and blow out of proportion into some kooky theory.
No allegiance to Charlie Kirk when he was alive. So what is it about Charlie's widow in particular that is inspiring his very public nervous breakdown? Personally, I think he knows something about her. That is what I am sensing, that he knows something about Erica Kirk. And every time he speaks, I grow more certain that Israel might be involved with...
Oh my gosh. More certain that they might. Every time he speaks, she thinks more and more Israel was involved. So when they don't respond, oh, they're scared Israel's involved. When they do respond, oh, they're scared. She is so stupid, dude. Second coming of Kirk is coming. I don't know about that.
Israel might be involved with 9/10. Well,
they might be involved. Dude. Amazing. 9/10. JD Vance says you don't have to apologize for being white anymore. Is that true?
In the United States of America, you don't...
It is kind of true. It spends like it.
...white anymore.
Bro spent the last hour defending a Jew. Sorry, I have consistency, and if somebody's being retarded, I will admit it. She's being retarded. She's playing the villain. She's playing the heel. She's making people opposed to Ben Shapiro look retarded. She's helping Ben Shapiro. She used to work for Daily Wire and PragerU. She's helping them, whether she's in on it or not. She's helping them.
In the United States of America, you don't have to apologize for being white anymore.
It does kind of feel like that a little bit. It's funny though because it used to be like if you the saying like that it's okay to be white. Everybody would call you a white supremacist if you say that. Yeah, bro, Ben Shapiro, dude, totally love that guy. Are you kidding me? Looks like Adam's siding with Ben Shapiro now. Adam's yeah, because I don't like because Candace is retarded. That means I'm with Ben Shapiro. Yeah, real high intellect there. Whoever said that in the comments. Oh, is that Cuckoo that said that? Yeah, they're just a troll. Go watch Candace Cuckoo. Nicki Minaj says we're going to stand up for Christians everywhere. They've already found Candace's replacement. Candace has been replaced with a hotter, more talented black girl.
Receive that, bullies. We won't be silenced ever again. We will speak up for Christians wherever they are in this world.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yep. We're going to save the Nigerians.
Amen.
Because they believe in Rabbi Jesus, we're gonna intervene in Nigeria.
I don't know if you can see this at home, but she is getting a ton of standing ovations.
I love you guys so much. Thank you guys.
Yeah, you don't think she's better looking than Candace? Of course she is. Maybe hotter's not the right word, because I don't think Candace is hot, but Adam queening out. She's okay. They found a more famous and more attractive version of Candace. Okay, don't be gay. Stop being gay.
Receive that, bullies. We won't be silenced ever again. We will speak up.
She's more black. She's got more attitude. They're both pretty whitewashed. Amen. She's gonna drop it. She's about to drop it. She twerks? She doesn't twerk.
I don't know if you can
Don't
see
make
this at
that up.
home, but she is getting a ton of standing ovations.
All right. Yeah, all the white boys are standing up for Nicki Minaj. There's a couple funny Freudian slips, like this one. She calls this guy a grifter.
Not a grifter, honey. It's all good.
Here, let's play that one.
Despite the devastating loss of Charlie Kirk, my incredible husband at UVU, Caleb has persisted with the same gift. Grit. It has been a long day. Trust me,
Grift.
not a grifter, honey. It's all good. Despite the devastating loss of Charlie Kirk.
Did Nicki Minaj make that WAP song? I was wondering that too. I think that was the other one. That was the other one from the lab. That was Cardi B. Yeah, that was Cardi B, right? Isn't that so funny, the grift? Hilarious. Freudian slip. And this is, she says J.D. Vance is the assassin, and it becomes a little awkward.
Our vice president. And you have amazing role models like the assassin J.D. Vance, our vice president. And when I say that,
Is she trying to be funny?
Trust me, there's nothing new under the sun that I have not heard, so you're fine.
What, did somebody say something in the crowd or something?
Yes, we did.
Because obviously by assassin, that means like he's a killer, you know? He's a sharpshooter. Like she means it as like a good thing. Based Nicki. No, dude, she's secretly outing him. It's revelation of the method. They're just rubbing it in your faces. Wow, yeah, JD took the shot. He's the assassin, definitely. Totally.
You have to laugh about it.
Is that her real hair? Is that a wig?
Thing, and you know what? God is so good. You let it roll.
God is so
Right off
good.
your back. And this is what's so beautiful about this moment.
All right, cool. You're done. You're too much of a loser. Adam is laughing with the Jews. With what Jew? Where have there's been a Jew laughing, you stupid idiot? Fucking out of here, dude. Stupid coping troll. Definitely a wig.
I love this woman. She's an amazing woman. She has a soul and a heart for the Lord.
And you have amazing role models like the...
Dude, I want to see some Nicki Minaj music videos. See the new leader, the new voice of the Republican Party. Real Chinese hair. Yeah, it's real. It's just horse hair from China. Okay, this was a little creepy and weird. They recreated the tent where Charlie was shot with his actual T-shirt and the microphone he was holding. This guy has been. It's like visiting Elvis's house. What is that called? Elvis's house has a special name, but.
And you can see from behind.
It's like the relics of Charlie Kirk.
And you can see from behind me, this is a recreation of the tent where Charlie Kirk lost his life at Utah University in September, and people are taking selfies with it. You can see from behind me.
Kind of weird. Hey, let's go get a selfie where he was shot. The sacred tent. Graceland, yeah. That's right, Graceland, sorry. Ralph would be disappointed. Hey, dude, in every time you learn something new, something old falls out of your brain. So that was pretty weird. Okay, more heated questions as questions from the crowd on Israel. Let's hear this. See this back and forth.
What is the greatest issue that Israel is doing to
Yeeth Khan says, throw some Nikki on King. Dude, Yeeth Khan, you crack me up.
America? Like, is it AIPAC? Is it collateral damage? Is it Jewish billionaires? Like, what's the greatest issue that they have on America?
I'll take this one first.
Yeah. The premise of your question essentially says President Trump is a schmuck.
Yep.
To use a Yiddish term. I mean, you're essentially saying that Trump is a schmuck and the tail is wagging the dog. That somehow he's not in charge and some secret cabal of people are yanking his chain. And then he doesn't know what he's doing. The people leading our government don't know what they're doing.
Yes.
People are not critical thinking.
Yes, so that's what we're saying.
What is the premise of your own question?
Cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks. This guy needs to cool it.
I mean, are the Jews with you today? Are they there in the room with you? I mean, what's the...
Probably, yes. I'm sure there's a big small hat section in the room, actually.
I think
they have a booth. Yes, I believe there's a Chabad Lubavitch booth.
There are some issues with it.
Yeah, a Zionist schmuck to be exact. That's funny.
What's the premise of your own question?
I think there are some issues with Israel. I think AIPAC should register with FARA. I don't know how much collateral damage should be having in Gaza, but there's a certain limit of how many innocent children and women that should not be dying. I agree bad things happen, but there is a limit to collateral damage.
How many limits were there on October the 7th, and when did you post about those limits and your concerns?
You're comparing 2,000 people.
So what, they're allowed to own our country and our politicians because of October 7th? They were doing it before October 7th. Also, I'm surprised. Next it'll be he'll pull the Holocaust. He'll be like, October 7th. Well, what about October 7th? What about the Holocaust? Well, what about the Bible?
To 60 to 70,000 people.
What's your evidence of 60 to 70,000 people? Where'd you get that?
Ask any artificial intelligence where you would get unbiased information, and you would find a...
Ask AI. Dude, this motherfucker said ask Grok. He said ask ChatGPT. He said, what's your proof? He goes, ask any artificial intelligence. Dude, L response. That's so funny.
1,000 people to 60 to 70,000 people.
What's your evidence of 60 to 70,000 people? Where'd you get that?
Ask any artificial intelligence where you would get unbiased information, and you would find a consensus.
Dude, you hear the crowd reaction, dude? This is great job. Great job, Israel critic. Another big L, another easy L for these kooks up here, making these guys look like they're coming up on top of things. Good job.
I would like to hear.
I think that's what you kids today call a cell phone. Thank you for your question.
Thank you very much indeed. Did you want to come in over?
Yeah. Dude. Bro. He did the Ask Grok. Where's Amalek in the chat? Dude, do they not always do this? A plant? A straw man? I don't know. Ask the Israeli trained AI bot. Yeah. I probably could do that. I wonder what it says.
That needs to be asserted here is that there's a long-standing statement that the first casualty in any war is the truth. There's the fog of war, propaganda, atrocity stories are as old as dirt. And that doesn't mean that they can't be true, but it does mean that you shouldn't go on Instagram and establish the truth that way. So basically, atrocity stories, if it really happened, that's an atrocity.
Hold on. Fact check now. I said how many people killed in Gaza since October 7th. ChatGPT does say about 70,000. Wow, I didn't realize it was so high. I've just been saying tens of thousands, but I haven't really looked into the actual number. I'm sure the Zionists will dispute that. Multiple humanitarian sources, similar figures in 70,000. They'll be like, those are Hamas numbers. It probably is 70,000. I would believe Gaza over, or these humanitarian groups over. You just got to say, the reason he took the L though is he should have just cited one of the articles at least. Like New York Times said it. This is Uganda. 500,000 since 2016. That sounds about right.
But I want to reserve judgment because
300,000. No, to clarify, the L wasn't the number, the statistic he gave. It was the response saying, ask any artificial intelligence. He should have said 6 million.
Lies pour out of wars just the way bloodshed does.
Can I just redirect really quick? I want to make sure that you guys understand. I push back because I want to see the premise of his question. Being concerned about the loss of innocent life and unnecessary escalating collateral damages, there's nothing wrong and immoral about that whatsoever. The question becomes, what's the premise of what you're asking, which is why I pushed back on, well, where was the anger about what happened on October the 7th? Did you see what he did there? All right. He just started counting bodies as if somehow the Israelis were just sitting there begging for this to happen to them, and they weren't. What provoked this? What provoked this operation?
I don't know. The conquering of the Holy Land according to their biblical agenda? Maybe that provoked it. What, are you going to start it on October 7th? You're going to start history on October 7th? What provoked it? Also, what? They killed 1,000 on October 7th, so killing 70,000? What, October 7th happened so they can just ethnically cleanse all of them? Kill 2 million and take it for Israel?
Since 2006, it's funny, those of you that want so-called Palestinian autonomy, in many respects, you sound very much like the neocons you claim to hate, because that's exactly what they believed in.
Yeah, the neocons were very well known, notorious pro-Palestinians, those neocons, right? Oh, what? You're standing up for Gaza? You sound like a neocon. What? What is this guy even saying? Oh, you're not pro-Israel? You're a neocon. Are you kidding me? Actually?
Where was the anger about what happened on October the 7th? Did you see what he did there? All right. He just started counting bodies as if somehow the Israelis were just sitting there begging for this to happen to them, and they weren't. What provoked this? What provoked this operation? Since 2006, it's funny, those of you that want so-called Palestinian autonomy, in many respects, you sound very much like the neocons you claim to hate, because that's exactly what they believed in, was Palestinian autonomy and Palestinian agency, and the Israelis gave it to them.
What?
And they gave them essentially their own state right there on their border, and what they did is turn right around and vote for Hamas, and led to exactly the events that we just saw on October the 7th and the events that we have seen since. So if we want to have a moral conversation, then I think you have to start from the right moral premise. If anything, the Israelis have been wrong in giving away too much land, giving too much infiltration to their own enemies, and listening to the neocons too much.
One sentence, just very quick.
Yeah. That guy's just listening to the neocons too much, right, guys? I can't even believe I'm hearing this.
Quickly, when October 7th happened, one of my grandsons was at Columbia University.
Oh, what are we going to play? Not playing.
Horrendous thing happened in Israel, and the next day there was an insta protest at Columbia University, pop-up protest, pro-Palestinian protest, right after October 7th. The thing was a coordinated op.
Wow, a protest popped up after October 7th. It's an op. Yeah, no. This is an Israeli op. You're a Jewish op, dude. Oh, yeah, there's no Zionist ops going on after October 7th. Of course not. Jutsu, this makes me want to root for Candace just to see TPUSA fall apart. She's going to strengthen and embolden TPUSA. Candace is not going to destroy TPUSA. She is like a gift to TPUSA. She's making them the eternal victims, and their opposition and their critics now are retards like Candace. You think Candace is bringing down TPUSA and Mossad and Ben Shapiro? We'll see it. We'll see how that unfolds in the next few years. It's not happening.
Thank you.
Parisia. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Maybe last live I'll catch this year. Thanks heaps for all the shows you put out this year. Big love to you, your family, and I don't know why it cuts off like this at the bottom. Why? I've tried to fix it so many times. The font, I lower the font so it doesn't cut off, and it always does it. Okay. I will read all of those.
Is the greatest issue.
Dude, this guy
Is asking questions.
Here's his response to USS Liberty, which another questioner brought up to Ben Shapiro.
Last thing, and you may consider this a little bonus round item. I mention it only because I believe it was brought up at this conference earlier. This bonus topic is the USS Liberty, attacked by Israeli planes in 1967, killing 34 Americans.
Dude, he's just reading off ChatGPT now?
No assertions here. All I am doing is noticing. All I'm doing is asking questions, you know.
The Zionists can notice too, Goy.
Like Candace does.
Noticing and asking questions. Oh, dude.
All I'm doing is asking questions, you know. Like
He knows all the lingo.
Connecting dots. The Liberty was an intelligence-gathering ship, and LBJ was president. Israel was in the middle of a hot 1967 war. How confident are you personally that there was no American deep state in 67? How confident are you that we weren't playing both sides and feeding intel to Egypt?
Oh.
How confident are you that America can only be double-crossed?
Bold move. He's accusing America of being an evil deep state that double-crossed Israel and deserved to have their boat attacked. Wow. Nice.
How confident are you?
Dude, they're not sending their best. Ben Shapiro's like, leave this one to me, okay? I got the USS Liberty question. Don't say that. Don't say they deserve. I've seen a rabbi say that they deserved it, actually. Who remembers that? I'm sure Need More Amalek will. Or Need More Amalek or See Through It All will probably remember that. There was a rabbi that was saying that America deserved it. Thank you, as what? I wish it played. I miss the voices. Says Merry Christmas. Thank you, buddy.
Egypt. How confident are you that America can only be double-crossed and can never be the double-crosser?
Wow, it was our fault, actually. We deserved it. It was our fault. Wow, that's a interesting response.
CIA is endearing. Last thing, and you may consider this a little bonus round item.
Bonus round.
Because I believe.
What does See Through It All say? I wonder if I search on See Through It All's page Liberty, if it'll come up. I have a feeling it will. Did you come up with a cool cover for your book? Just curious, as a graphic designer. No, that's like the last thing I need to do. That's what I was going to work on tonight, actually, in the next few days, is the book cover. I've got ideas, though. Okay. I want to just look up real quick. Let's see. Maybe one of these will play while I'm talking. I'm going to look up on See Through It All. It might not have been See Through It All, but good chance it was. Any of these words, liberty. Let's see. Where does the rabbi say the USS Liberty deserved it? I might have it saved in my files, actually. It's not on See Through It All's page. Hold on. Just let me do a Liberty check real quick. No. So many better questions to ask besides USS Liberty, too. No, I'm not finding it. Anyway, we'll skip. We'll continue. Russell Brand. This is a good breakdown. Russell Brand claims he doesn't care about celebrity and money anymore. Just Jesus. Like, he's not pursuing celebrity status. Like, he's not a celebrity up on the stage, a celebrity Jesus shill.
To plug into.
Like, he's not streaming and doing podcast every day, but, I don't want the attention.
Montana State says, over the last year, have you seen any positive changes in Hollywood and in your profession with actors who are more open as you've become?
Mate, I've got to tell you, I'm not in Hollywood. I couldn't be further from Hollywood. I'll never be in Hollywood again. I'm not interested in the arts of deception and false illusion and false idols and celebrity. I'm not in Hollywood.
No, he promotes Jesus, which is definitely not an illusion and a false Jewish idol.
I'm not judging people that are. Like, someone like Chris Pratt, who's all magnificent.
She's not American?
Share the word so beautifully. I'm just saying that for me.
What is she, Dominican?
I can't do it. I can't be around all that. Not because I think that I'm a good person, but because I know how fallen and how broken I am. I'm not good with too much stimulation, too much temptation, too much invitation into objectifying people or worshipping money. I'm too weak. I'm too vulnerable. Unless the Lord is in me, I'm in serious trouble. Hey, but I will tell you that this week I'm 23 years clean and sober from drugs and alcohol, one day at a time.
Favorite part of decorating the tree? The menorah on top, probably, or the Star of David on top.
Whatever that addiction is, you have the opportunity
Just a joke.
to
Ornaments, I guess. We don't put the lights on. The lights are already built into it. It's a fake tree.
Or self-obsession, although, I still have
just a joke, guys.
the true grace, the living water.
We've got a baby Jesus on the top of our TV.
Living springs of wonder
tree.
and glory in all of us, in you.
Thank you for the Hanukkah donation, Maxed Out Bear. Says, Oy vey, Merry Christmas to you and your family. Thank you. It's going to go to some last-minute gifts there, Maxed Out Bear. Got to go. I'm going to get her a new water bottle. Wife said she needs a new water bottle. I'm like, I'm on it. Also, we got some rollerblades for the young one. A Christmas hat, some rollerblades, pajamas. That's what I got. My wife and my daughter, not rollerblades, roller skates. I should be quiet. She might be listening. She still thinks Santa's real. She could be out. I could have just ruined her childhood. Hopefully she's not right outside the door listening to me. Appreciate you, AG. Everyone scope out A Very Pagan Christmas on Amazon Prime. We were watching that this morning, actually. Only 45 minutes. Really cool and informative. Happy Yule Christmas, my crackers. Thank you, Trev Giz. Yeah, I watched a little bit of that the other night, and then they were watching it this morning when I came downstairs. So all these Christians just lie with no shame. Like Joel Webden saying Charlie didn't write his book. Charlie's book about observing the Sabbath. All the kooky Christians now are saying, they're making that up. He was never pro-Sabbath. He talked about writing the book. He talked about observing the Sabbath. He was always a big Zionist shill. His wife is promoting the book because he's dead. And they're all trying to spin it like, Charlie never was pro-observing the Sabbath. He didn't even write the book. Maybe he had a ghostwriter write it, but he still endorsed it. He still went along with it.
This is a big week. Charlie's latest book, Stop in the Name of God. Tell us more.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of awful on some level.
Right.
Like we never, at least anytime it's soon.
Yeti, Aryan, Blondie.
We're going to have a last book from Charlie. We thought that there was going to be dozens more, actually. So it's terrible, but like if there was to be a book.
Yeah, Charlie talked about writing the book, but then these Christians are like, I don't think he wrote it. They'll just lie. They just lie and don't even care. Don't even care to look into it. People will reply with all of the thank you, Stacia. The replies will be full of clips of Charlie shilling the Sabbath, but they'll be like, I think the Jews made that up. They're just fucking liars. Even when they're corrected, they don't even retract it either.
This early, that was
professional liars.
It's amazing that it wasn't a political book. That it wasn't.
Good point.
It's a book about honoring the Lord, about resting, about obeying a divine imperative to stop, to cease, to rest. And
then the other Christian conspiracy was like, look, the book says stop God. It says stop in the name of God. In the name of is a little smaller because of graphic design. Is it going to be like stop in God small, but in the name of really big? No, that would be stupid and ugly. But they're like, look, they're stopping God. They're secret Satanists. No, they're actually saying to honor the Jewish God and his commandment of the Sabbath.
What's incredible.
Yeah, obey the Jews' laws. Exactly. That should be the scandal. They turned it in. No, they want to stop the Jew God.
It is. It's almost like you see this new side of Charlie, like he's a biblical scholar. He's a theologian. And the discipline with which Charlie himself pursued the Sabbath and rest and making sure he made time for his family and to contemplate and ponder these ideas is really amazing when you open this thing up and you read what's inside of it. I mean, you quickly realize this is a different kind.
Dude, they're just blocking traffic.
You could have ever.
I would honk.
How fitting.
And Eric,
get out of here, CBN.
There was like 30 books about the Sabbath in their home. Like he was like a Sabbath sanctuary, if you will.
Oh my God.
Charlie was working on this book for I think 18 months, definitely over a year, and he thought about it. In the quiet times, he thought about it. He had a notebook that he was keeping all these notes, these moments. I would see him, he'd have this thing, and I'd be like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, just, really quick, something just occurred to me. And so this was really special to him.
Oh, yeah, sure, Klovic. Yeah, I'm sure he really wrote it. I'm sure he was really taking notes. Seems a little sus. I feel like he was reading a line when he said that. That's your average Christ cut conspirator.
Charlie put this into practice. There was a time at the week on Friday where he would just stop as a discipline. He would just stop, and you couldn't get a hold of him. He would put his phone down, and he would devote himself to his family. He would get lots of sleep and lots of rest and catch up on all of these the thinking and the praying. And what was interesting is you realized, because he showed this, that you could get more done in 6 days by observing a day of rest, just like the Lord did when he breathed creation into existence. That he could get more done in 6 days with a day of rest than he could in 7 without. And you realize that this was actually the secret sauce. Why Charlie made this such a priority was because he wanted the world to understand what he had discovered by putting this discipline into place. It took him to the next level. There is no doubt about it.
And for a generation under 30, how about
dude? We need to be Sabbath maxing. You want to go to the next level, Goy? Sabbath max. Do you want to take your Jew worship to the next level? We'll take off on Saturday, man. Put your phone down on Saturday. Friday night, come home to the wife and kids. Throw down the phone. Shabbat shalom, daddy's home.
Culture that we're in, stop for a moment, get off your phone, and start actually spending time with God.
Yeah, stop
Saint Charlie.
Striving. Stop pushing. Stop wanting. Just rest.
Yes.
I eat extra pork.
That he's God and absorb
on
that
Saturday.
And I'm not perfect at it. Charlie wasn't perfect at it
100%.
either. But this discipline is so important, and Charlie knew that. And I'm telling you, if you read this book, I've learned stuff about Charlie that I didn't know before. But this is truly, it was a labor of love, and it was. I remember pitching him on 18 different ideas for a book. He wanted this one, and he wanted it for a reason. And again, I just think it's so fitting.
Wait a second. Pitching him ideas for a book? So was this Sabbath book also pitched to him as an idea for a book?
that the last book that we get from him is not a political book. This is a timeless book that will forever mean something.
Great point. Thanks.
The Jews came to Charlie. They're like, Charlie, we need you to write a big bestseller for. We'll ghostwrite it. You put your kosher stamp of approval. We could either have the adult circumcision, how to be a good Noahide, or observe the Sabbath. He's like, I guess I'll take the Sabbath. All right. It's going to be a #1 bestseller. Charlie didn't write it. No, you're an idiot. Look, here's another one. Emerald Robinson. Another almost 1 million followers. Newsmax, One America News, Lindell. Charlie Kirk was not a biblical scholar. Oh, so you're just like attacking him? Okay. Charlie Kirk was not an ordained pastor. Charlie Kirk was not well read. Wow. He had a high school diploma. He dropped out of community college in the first semester. All that is true. It's highly likely that he never wrote this book. Yeah, maybe he did have a ghostwriter. I wouldn't be surprised by that. But to say that, like, he opposed the idea of this book, he opposed the message of this book, no. No.
I'm actually writing my next book on the Sabbath. It's called Stop in the Name of God.
No, this is AI, bro. He didn't write it. Charlie would have never said observe the Sabbath. It's only Ben Shapiro, and Mossad killed him, and Ben Shapiro took over, and now they're claiming he was pro-Sabbath.
I'm actually writing my next book on the Sabbath. It's called Stop in the Name of God, because Shabbat means stop or ceasing. So I'm not here to sell you a book. It's not even for sale yet. It's just something to think about. And it's honestly how the Sabbath saved my life and helped preserve my family and helped preserve my career. I grew up in a church environment that at the very best would de-emphasize the Shabbat. At the very worst, say that the Sabbath doesn't really matter. The Sabbath.
This is so kosher, by the way. Like, why not just rest on Sunday? You go to church and then you spend time with your family. You're not on your phone. That doesn't say in your life, no, it's got to be on Saturday like Yahweh commanded the Jews. Then it saved his life and his career and his marriage. Like, it's so kosher. He was so kosher to claim, like, oh, they're lying. He had nothing to do with this book, is just like missing the whole point. Stop in the name of Goyim.
Is in your heart. You don't need to observe it. Yeah. If you believe God is in charge, and if you believe Genesis 1:1, because the Shabbat is a question of whether or not you believe Genesis 1:1.
Well, I don't.
And if you believe Genesis 1:1, then you honor the Sabbath. If you have questions about Genesis 1:1, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, which is Bereshit, right? It's the first truth claim of the scriptures. Then on the seventh day you rest.
Jack Stone says, cut in the name of the Lord. How circumcision is giving that extra 10%. He's like, yeah, man, adult. Why not go all the way and just get circumcised too?
Because God created the heavens and
Charlie was a true believer. Yeah, I think so.
Of time of the
they just groomed some high school born and raised Christ cuck. That's all it was.
And so that realization changed my life. I could talk about this from many different dimensions, what it's meant for me personally, what it means on the macro. I will challenge the Christian church because I believe this is the most ignored commandment of the Decalogue to our own detriment.
Bada-bo-two is loving my confusion, marrying my redhead ethnically Scottish lady and visiting Scotland for a honeymoon next year. Awesome. Love your show. Hail the folk. Dude, I might see you. That's Scotland and Ireland is on my bucket list too. I don't know if it'll be as early as next year, but that's another place that's on our short list for future travels. Because I'm part Scottish. You guys know that, right? It's part Scottish. So Ireland and Scotland would be a cool trip. Congratulations, dude. Redhead. I hope your kids have bright red hair like Esau. Just kidding. I wonder if the Sabbath observing Gentile Christians can hire a Shabbos Goy. Yeah, did you have a Shabbos Goy? Good question, Brother B. Dude, Brother B's, that's some high level thinking. Did you hire Ben Shapiro to come over? Who do you hire as a Shabbos Goy? Some pagan? He hires some pagan to come and work?
Stop talking because I know we have a whole program.
No, it's fine.
Which is that I believe that honoring the Sabbath is the commandment that allows you to honor the other 9 commandments, and that the enemy has gone after the honoring the Sabbath because then it is easier to weaken the other 9. And I'll prove it to you. If you're honoring the Sabbath, it's definitionally easier to honor your mother and father.
Okay, this is just pill. You know, my understanding is that Christianity didn't start observing Sunday as the day of rest until like hundreds of years after the supposed time of Jesus. And also in the New Testament, Jesus gives some pill answer on why you can work on the Sabbath. He says this, he quotes, the Sabbath was not made for man, but man for the Sabbath, something like that, right? But he doesn't ever condemn and say, no, we do not follow the Sabbath anymore. He never says that. He just says you can work on the Sabbath.
Because you're not working that day and you're with family. If you're honoring the Sabbath, it's easier not to covet your neighbor's wife because you're not around your neighbor's wife. You're with your family. And you're filled.
What? So you're not lusting and coveting some hottie at church because you didn't go to church. Dude. Might as well just cover them in burqas too then. Otherwise you might lust after your neighbor's wife.
Gratitude that day. When you're honoring the Sabbath, it's easier to have no other gods before God because that day is built in time as a temple, as a sanctuary to put God first, to not have idols, to not take the Lord's name in vain. The other 9 commandments are made easier, are made more accessible for our broken, fleshly, depraved nature if we prioritize the Shabbat.
Powerful, isn't it? This isn't about...
So these guys are literally saying, Charlie didn't write the book. Emerald Robinson says, my fellow Christians, if you understand Christian theology, then you know that Charlie Kirk's memory is now being used to encourage Christians to observe Jewish customs and holidays. That's heresy. You may argue it's heresy, but that was Charlie Kirk doing that heresy because he did it when he was alive. Miss Emerald Robinson, Christian influencer. God, she could have been such a Viking queen. She could have. Somebody needs to save her from the Yahweh, the savage queen of Twitter. No, you're keep your mouth shut, Christian lady. Listen to your Bible and shut up. Candace, or at least just stop lying about Charlie, because it's pathetic. All these lying Christians don't care about the truth. Erica Kirk answers questions about her meeting with Candace Owens.
You have some common ground with Candace. I mean, did you feel like you have common ground? You have some common ground with Candace. I mean, you both want to honor Charlie's legacy.
Zornder Edom, what's the problem? Charge from Powerchat, shit service. Did your thing not come up? Is that what you're saying? I'll look through Powerchat. Does it say Zornder Edom? I'll look for it.
I mean, you both say that you want to know.
Oh, I see one right here. Look. 11:59. There we go. Jew Sky Daddy tidings to you, Adam. Noticers Anonymous is in session. Happy Solstice for 20. Thank you. Archie. Okay, we saw that one. Okay. Dude, it's just not working right today. Keeps freezing. Powerchat, pull it together, guys. Come on.
Exactly what happened. Do you feel like there was some common meeting of the minds?
Nick Fuentes says that Catholics believe the New Testament supersedes the Old Testament, but didn't Jesus not disavow any of it and claim to be the God from it? Yes. He only affirms it all, correct? He says not jot or tittle will be changed until everything is fulfilled. He says, I think in another verse about following the commandments also. But that's pretty much what Christians believe. They do believe that the New Testament fulfilled the Old, but Jesus obviously still is the God of the Old. If you believe Jesus is God, then Jesus commanded the foreskins to be chopped off. He demanded the extermination of the Amalekites. He called for children's heads to be bashed against the rocks. That's all Jesus, yes. He chose the Jews.
I'm not going to speak on her behalf, but what I do know is that my COO and myself, when we walked into that meeting, we were very intentional with why we were there, provided what we wanted to provide to show context and also to show we have nothing to hide, never will have anything to hide. And you just let the Lord do the rest. But I'm not going to sit and judge how anyone interpreted anything outside of myself. So I pray for her, I pray for her family, and let the Lord handle the rest. We're building. I don't have time for the noise. I said my piece, and that's it. And we get back to work.
Do you feel like you have common ground? You have some common ground with Candace? I mean, you both...
Candace ain't stopping. You know it's bad when even Alex Jones is debunking you and saying that you're got mental issues. 20,000 likes for this one. Let's hear Jones. Maroon shirt. Uh-oh. Candace, maroon shirt. I think he's in on it.
As most of you that pay attention know, I am not the internet police. I don't infight. I don't try to focus on what other people are theorizing about or doing. I try to focus on...
Theorizing about? Theorizing? You mean? Theorizing?
Focus on what other people are theorizing about or doing. I try to focus on what I'm doing. And so it's with a heavy heart that I am forced to put out another report, either tonight or tomorrow morning. We're adding a lot of information right now.
Everybody was like, forced? Who forced him? Forced by Mossad? Forced by Bibi Netanyahu? No, how about forced by wanting to say the truth? Oh, Candace is his friend, and I'm sorry, but she's just so wrong. I'm forced to have to call her out. Like, that's what he's saying. Not he's forced by Jews to do a report about how she's wrong. Ashes says super sus.
To put out another report, either tonight or tomorrow morning. We're adding a lot of information right now.
Everybody was like, Alex got the call.
Candace Owens.
7,000 for Alex. By the way, dudes, Yule is technically the first full moon after the solstice, so January 3rd, light a fire or at least a candle for your family and ancestors. Okay. Do we have to wait until the 3rd for a fire? Pretty sure they had fires like every night during the winter back then. But yeah, I appreciate the sentiment, Trev Giz. The first full moon after the solstice. Got it.
Egyptian plane thing gets debunked with all the facts. Now she's moved to something else, and I'm really worried about her. I'm worried about her and her mind, and I'm also worried about the country and where this is going. It's good to question Charlie Kirk's assassination. I have big questions. We know Cash Patel covered up an investigation to accomplices. I broke that. I'm up before it hit the mainstream news. So I'm not saying don't question. But her latest source and what she's done, implicating the U.S. military and all this other stuff, is just so damaging. And when you go investigate it, it's so crazy. And just like with the Egyptian plane, she says she has the metadata, then publish it. And when she did publish it, and it got fact-checked, it wasn't accurate. Candace, we care about you. But you just don't.
Dude, Alex is hosting interventions. He's hosting interventions for Candace.
Again, with something even more absurd. And I hate watching you destroy yourself like this.
He knows. He knows from experience.
With the reports coming out at Real Shows on X, on Rumble, and Infowars.com.
Jerusalem is trending. Hebrew is trending. What is going on? Guys, anybody know why Jerusalem is trending? Here's the report.
Seriously concerned.
40 minutes.
Candace Owens.
Everybody's like, what? Is Alex trying to say she's mentally ill? Is Alex trying to get her kids taken away? Dude, the Candace stands are so cringe. Pot calling the kettle black, yeah.
I am seriously concerned for Candace Owens.
Dude, Alex in the leather jacket goes hard.
What I'm about to reveal.
Hard.
About to break down. Comes from a place of love.
He loves her.
Please, watch this report and do your own research. And Candace, please, think about what I'm about to say and what I'm about to reveal.
Dude, I hope she attacks Jones.
You dig this hole much further.
Don't keep digging.
I can confirm
this kook
on this podcast live every step of your story in terms of where you went.
I haven't watched this yet.
There, that there was this big meeting that happened. I confirmed the location with other people that are.
Hold on. I don't want to hear all this again. I just want to hear how they respond.
Yeah.
I can confirm everything with metadata. I obviously can't confirm that you saw who you say you saw. If you had to put it at a percentage that you saw Brian Harpole, what percentage would you put it at? I obviously
95.
95%. Okay.
95 to 99. I mean, I lures me to the garage that she pre-set up to be like a little prison. You know, she broke the garage doors. Hoarded stuff was stacked against the windows and the other doors. So
what is this? A different?
Attacked me. Hit me with a hammer and break my thumbs, my feet.
What?
Back my skull. Eventually, I was hearing my son cry. I was worried about him, having her maul him with the dogs again. And
another interview?
Multiple times. He had been hurt really bad. So when I heard him crying, I used the hammer to go ahead and break the door handle, pulled on my arm while I was holding the phone, dislocated my arm. That's actually one of the surgeries.
Yeah, I hope so bad that Owens goes after Alex Jones. I hope she calls Alex a Mossad agent. I would love that. That would be hilarious. Grab your popcorn for the Candace versus Alex fight. That'll be great.
I'm still recovering from getting surgeries from it. I saw there was already cops there. They were sitting on the corner at DeMoss Road and Van Geese.
Dude, yeah, Candace is dragging out the wackos.
Out there, Benton City, not far from our house, like 400 feet from our house. I could see them. And they weren't coming over. They were just sitting out there outside of their cars talking and chatting with each other. And it's been an amazing trip. And most of all, it's the people that I've gotten to meet. And
this is Candace's expert she brought on to claim he saw Erica and like some other guys at a military base in Arizona. Is Owen flirting with Adam Green, Christ Cook Liberation? You mean Owen Schroyer?
It's absolutely.
What are you talking about, Dirty Rick?
It's been a wonderful experience.
I want you to meet a man named Mitch Snow. He's very, very interesting. He is the new Egyptian planes.
Yeah.
We're supposed to move on from the Egyptian planes that were the key to everything.
Yeah.
Until just about 4 or 5 days ago.
Yeah, you were wrong about that, but I'm sure you're totally right about this.
Adam, what do you think about Trump wanting to take over Greenland?
Resources, maybe AI factories, energy, military for World War III. I'd say those are probably the reasons. He said he got they claim that he got the idea from Ronald Lauder from the World Jewish Congress because he has Estee Lauder and they use the seal oil for their cosmetics or something like that. That was another explanation I heard.
Snow. This is the key to everything. Now, I want to be very clear. I've known Candace Owens since she first showed up at the political scene. I've always liked her. One of the first people to ever interview her. I have admired her, been friends with her. She's on our promos, for my own broadcast. And since we've seen the whole saga and the tragedy of Charlie Kirk's assassination back in September 10th of this year, it has turned into just a huge black hole issue, sucking everything into it. And so I've been forced to go study the different stories and claims and things that she's been getting into. And I've held my tongue with everybody asking me on air and at the grocery store and at church and my family about what I thought until the last week because I hadn't done a deep study of it all. I knew about a lot of the pieces, but still had a lot of other things I was dealing with and covering. And so then I just started doing a deep dive in the last few weeks. And I focused on a lot of big pieces of it, but first off was the Egyptian planes. And right as I'm already doing the research and others are doing the research, a researcher goes and gets the flight data, actually buys the professional grade, puts out the fact that 66% of the time she said these planes were in the United States.
And Candace was saying, like, this is key to everything. She's so close. It's all about to be exposed. The Egyptian connection is key to the whole conspiracy. And then it turns out it's completely wrong. And what would that even prove anyway? An Egyptian plane following her around. So vis-a-vis, ipso facto, Charlie was killed by Egypt or Mossad. Like, what does that even mean?
And another 60% of the time, they weren't matched up to where she was. And then Candace came out a few days ago and said, yeah, she got some of that wrong. And then, of course, she met with Erica Kirk and
womp.
Might be better.
Another round of debunking the Egyptian planes. I want to be very clear. We discussed the Egyptian planes, and I have since worked on an incredible document about the Egyptian planes, which we are going to put up on our website, because I realized that when we shared that spreadsheet, people assumed that one of the columns, which was actually saying where the planes landed on that day, because it was plus or minus 3 days, was exactly where Erica had been on that day, and that was inaccurate. And so for clarity, I had been working on the last week on turning it into an interactive timeline.
Plus or minus 3 days. So what? An Egyptian plane shows up at an airport, lands at the same airport 3 days later, and that's proof of what? Yeah, just 3 steps behind at all times. It's just so stupid. Your shirt you're wearing now is cool. Can you make available for merch? Colors are awesome. I do like this red color. I don't know if I'm going to do this design again, because they're kind of limited edition, and everybody that buys a shirt probably already got one of these. So I can't do another 100 order for the price is low enough to be able to sell. But I will do another design with this red shirt, because I like the red shirt.
That we can put up on our website, because I'm certain that these Egyptian planes are incredibly shady, and that they were in fact tracking Turning Point USA faith broader events. Of course, Erica was at some of them.
It's shady. This Egyptian plane is shady, following them.
Some of them. But it is the pattern here is undeniable. So let the naysayers and people make videos trying to, fifth round debunk these planes.
And then all of a sudden,
yeah, they've been debunked 5 times.
This letter she gets from this person that says they were a medic in special forces, and according to Grok, that's true. But he was also
I don't think anybody liked the V-necks. The V-necks did not sell well.
Protection program.
You guys are anti. Are V-necks gay? Is that the problem?
Says it's the other way around, and then
kidding.
No evidence of him in witness protection. And in the years he says he's in witness protection, he's out on paid trips to Cancun because of his medical disability. I mean, just looking at him and listening to him makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. Mm-hmm. And then his story of he's in Arizona the day before Charlie Kirk's killed, and he just decides to go to a military base, a restricted one, to see if they've got any files on him. And he gets there and has this whole story. It's directed to this building, and there's all these officers, and he thinks he sees the head of TPUSA security, but he wasn't sure then. It was later when he saw him on Sean Ryan. And then now he goes on Candace and suddenly says, I also saw, he's 99% sure, Erica Kirk.
That person matches who I saw at Fort Huachuca in the lobby the night before. And she was with that man in the lobby. And that man, he was present at that meeting the next morning.
If you had to put it at a percentage.
Dude, Erica Kirk said, stop. Sorry, let's back up. Candace said the only person that could make her stop was Erica Kirk. Erica Kirk says, clearly stop. She didn't stop. And then she meets with her. Then the very next day, she rolls out this kook. This kook that thinks her ponytail looked like Erica Kirk. It's even too kooky for Alex Jones.
That you saw that the girl in the ponytail matches the description of Erica Kirk. What percentage would you put that at?
Those are really rare eyes.
Blue eyes are rare?
95 to 99%.
So I said, all right, let me go look at this. And Candace again is saying, she's seen the metadata. It's ironclad. She's just not sure if he really saw Erica Kirk. Just like with the planes, it just goes from the Israelis to the Egyptians to the French to the U.S. military. And so before I get into the latest story of the military base and all of this, and somehow involved in killing Kirk, and just asking questions, just remember, I came out 4 or 5 days ago, and so did others, with the flight logs, with the data, and said to Candace, please respond to this. And just...
She'd done that multiple times.
On and on and on. And then TPUSA has the flight logs of the compilation tomorrow. And then that day he's killed, see, we told you. Or the guy down front saying, I shot him. And he says, there's none of that going on. There's not the prostitutes and the gay hookups and the...
Went back inside and break the door handle.
I want to hear Alex clown on this guy.
Yeah, we can't get into that, because NDAs and stuff, because, he could sue them. But he said, these people have gone public, and that's accurate. Went and looked it up.
Okay, that's enough of Jones. Here, Amalek went and play this one. Let's hear this. Sarah Stock getting owned on Christianity. Notice how the left uses and calls out Christian hypocrisy as a cudgel, and now there is no serious response to it because they are right.
Fundamentally focused on only the America First paradigm acts like this is a zero-sum game, right? The idea that you have to put America first and foremost, while, as you said, is maybe a good idea if all you care about is being greedy and concerned with your own self. But again, you're a Christian. Christians should not be fundamentally focused on only helping others because it benefits them, which is what you said. You said, I'll help them, but only if it benefits me. There's not a single fucking thing that's Christian about that, right? Christianity is fundamentally about generosity to others. It's about looking at people and seeing them with love. It's about looking past the borders and saying, you are loved because God made you, not because you're American, not because you're white. That's
Christians are always going to have to put up with hearing these lectures and being pointed out as hypocrites and being held to the standard of your kosher religion.
And what you're doing, you can have these principles, but you don't for a second get to pretend that it's Christian.
Owned. What do you have to say?
I think it's just odd that you come here from Canada to America and say, I want
Wait, she's Canadian also.
your country to support foreign policy that is detrimental, or economic policy or immigration policy
Didn't say
that
it's
hurts
detrimental.
America
That
but
never
helps
happened.
other countries. And I find that very strange. Take a look at our immigration system and be like,
Sarah,
what are we doing
Sarah,
here?
if your best dunk is, aren't you Canadian, but I'm still beating you on understanding of American foreign policy, that's not it.
Yeah. Owned. Mogged. Gosh. Who thought this girl was qualified to be the voice of conservatism? What, she got on, she goes from being a nobody to getting on that one Jubilee show and just goes American Christian nationalism, and then boom, explodes, 100,000 followers, podcast deals, platformed everywhere. And then she just gets owned. Great.
That he is going to say explicitly.
What did you think of Ben's speech? What did you think of Tucker's speech? Lay it all out.
Okay, I think clarity is kindness, and clarity is a gift that you give people. And I love that with Ben, we don't have to guess what he is thinking, that he is going to say explicitly exactly what he's thinking, and there isn't a bit of cowardice in him. He's just going to say it, whatever consequences come. But at the same time, I think Meghan has a right, and Tucker has a right to defend themselves, to get up there and say, you know what, this is my perspective. I didn't like that, or I did like that. I'm a huge fan of Meghan. I'm a huge fan of Ben. And I appreciate them both. And I appreciate that we very uniquely have a place in America Fest that truly allows and supports people who want to get up and say their piece unapologetically.
What did you think of Ben's speech?
Oh, my God. Look at this. She's so cringe. The Emerald Robinson girl we were showing a second ago tags him. The best way for Ben Shapiro to honor the memory of Charlie Kirk would be to convert to Christianity. Oh, my God. Then the world would be saved. If Ben, with just nothing the Christians want more than to Ben Shapiro to start coming to church with you. That'll fix everything. If only the Jews believe in the Messiah that was meant to conquer us. If only the Jews Jewed right, then we would win. Oh my God, it's so cringe. Candace says, Ben has a long career of behaving like a parasite. He thinks he has a right. I love how she was made famous by all these Zionist networks. Talk about a parasite. You were their token black that read their script. Ben has a long career of behaving like a parasite. He thinks he has a right to take over what other people build. He's trying to take over TPUSA, really? He doesn't already have enough problems with Daily Wire to worry about. He has always been, and remember they all were saying, because right after the death, they had Ben Shapiro was on. He co-hosted one of the shows the first week on Charlie's show, and he said he was donating $1 million and to help promote the message of Christianity that Charlie taught. And they're like, oh, Ben Shapiro's taking it over. Oh, he's picking up. He's going to finish Charlie's tour. That didn't happen. He didn't take over TPUSA. Charlie's wife did. So wrong. But let's hear Candace. He has always been envious of Charlie Kirk, maybe. And he is currently attempting to rewrite history like he did with Andrew Breitbart after he died. He treated Charlie terribly, and his behavior hanging around TPUSA to pick up his bloody mic makes me sick to my stomach. On your belly, worm. Let's hear what Charlie had to say about
Charlie
Ben.
Kirk, founder of TPUSA. My dude, you've built an actually enormous thing. Congratulations. Seriously amazing.
Thank you, Ben. It's great to see you, and thanks for being here. And yeah, it's been kind of a wild journey. You're one of the few people I could say you were at the foundational levels.
I mean, I remember 18-year-old Charlie Kirk going around the David Horowitz Freedom Center at the Breakers trying to meet donors. And I remember saying to every one of those donors, this guy's going to be head of the RNC. And then you just basically built your own RNC.
Yeah, we kind of looked at the RNC and we said, maybe we could do something, in our own likeness and image. But no, I mean, glory be to God. It's amazing. And this election cycle was a big test for us. And we were thrilled with the result.
I have to say, it's actually incredible. So there was a tape of you from election night when it was announced that President Trump had won. And you got really emotional, and I was moved by it because I know how much work you've put in over the last 10 years just to get to this point and to be so influential in this election. And listen, I mean, you were handed an enormous responsibility, and that's a super hard thing. Yeah. Outside the president and the vice president-elect, outside of that, very few people in this country have had more to do with the success of Donald Trump's re-elect effort. And I think this may have turned around the entire country. So you deserve enormous thanks, enormous kudos. Well done.
Well, thank you.
This is 2024. This is just earlier this year. Oh, it really seems like they hated each other.
Great work, and you guys really had the president's back when it mattered most during the summer and fall. I remember you texted me, you said, I will climb through broken glass to do whatever it takes to get Trump elected. And it really helped a lot, mattered a lot. And this is a victory for the American people. And glory be to God. We have 4 great years, and maybe beyond that with J.D. Vance and more, but it is a reprieve from the terror that we're living under right now. So
Charlie Kirk, again, thank you so much. Congratulations. Look forward to the rest of this amazing event.
Thanks, man.
Wow. So that's the truth. Look, Candace Owens, Charlie hated Ben. Actually, what did Charlie say? This is a little old, 2017. But what does he say? Can't say enough good things about Shapiro. His intellect, wit, wisdom, and knowledge is off the charts. A terrific leader for freedom. Dude, their last talk, this was awkward.
Okay, Charlie, we pushed back against the media on COVID, on lockdowns, on...
But then again, this is him bringing on Ben Shapiro, raising the questions that the detractors are raising and giving him an opportunity to respond and give his pill pull. Charlie was Shapiro glazing king, right? We know who Charlie was. He was a Shabbos Goy, Sabbath promoting Ben Shapiro glazer.
One thing a friend sent to me, interestingly, which is, okay, Charlie, we pushed back against the media on COVID, on lockdowns, on Ukraine, on the border, so like maybe we should also ask a question. Is the media totally presenting the truth when it comes to Israel? Just a question, that maybe we shouldn't believe everything the media says, because I know I've been conditioned to ask a lot more critical questions over the last couple of years. So Ben, some people would accuse Israel of wanting to ethnically cleanse. Some people in the Israeli government are saying, again, it's all over the place, right? You have opinions all over. In your opinion, what would a good outcome 5 years from now be?
He says some people have said ethnic cleanse. He said Israel wants to ethnically cleanse Gaza on the Patrick Bet-David show.
And how does one respond to the claims of ethnic cleansing? We're running out of time here, but just last...
Hold on. Bringing on Shapiro to give the Hasbara response to the common complaint, the common accusation of ethnic cleansing, isn't the big, look, he totally turned. Ben Shapiro tried to kill him. Oh, because of that?
Question on this. Ben, I know this might be a tougher question, but Bibi said, quote, I didn't like he said this, I'll be honest. You can't be MAGA if you're anti-Israel. I don't like it for a couple reasons. How did you analyze that statement from Bibi?
And it is totally fine to say to people who wish to destroy our civilization, no. And it is totally fine to say to people who wish to destroy our civilization, no, your values suck and they don't belong here.
Where does all this resentment come from?
Okay. Here's another one. The next time somebody lies and tries to tell you that Charlie Kirk hated Ben Shapiro, show them this. Again, 2018, his opinions could have changed. People ask me all the time where I get my ideas and arguments from. He reads Jordan Peterson, he watches Ben Shapiro, and he listens to Dennis Prager. Real Jew says Charlie took advice from great people. Those three are by far the most effective, wise, intelligent, and impactful thinkers of our time. So kosher. That's the Charlie I remember.
Yeah, that's funny. Why don't you have anybody dissenting from the right? When are we going to have more nationalists? Instead of just engaging with the left, now that the Biden administration has invaded our country, when are we going to build a big tent with nationalists like Jared Taylor and Nick Fuentes? Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I don't align with Jew haters. Sorry. Thank you. I'll talk to anybody. You want to tell me why do you hate the Jews, by the way? Like, what do you think of Jewish people? No, I think they have a disproportionate influence in American politics. However, I do find it interesting that you trot out these far-left I'll nitwits. talk to anybody, but one of the people you mentioned says we should have a holy war against the Jews. Do you believe that? I believe we need to spread the light yes of Christ or no? to the entire Do you world. believe in a holy war against the Jews? Yes or no? I believe in fighting for Christ. And I believe that Jerusalem should be Christian.
Christ was a Jew.
Christ is king. I agree Christ is king, but yes.
Dude, so you think a Jew is king then? No, Jesus not a Jew, he's king. So you worship a Jewish king. Yeah. And you need to also.
No, this is not a trick question. Do you believe in a holy war against the Jews? Yes or no? Not a trick question. Do you think we should try to convert Israelis to Christianity?
Why?
Yes, I try to convert everyone to Christianity. I try to convert Dennis to Christianity. I try to do it every day. It's the Great Commission. But you know what? Here's what I'm not going to put up with. I'm not going to put up with Jew hatred. In the conservative movement, in America, I'm not going to put up with that in any way, shape, or form. I'm not going to put up with it. And I'm not going to put up with it. It's disgusting. It's reprehensible.
Siegfried and Goy. That's funny. Weez and the Jews. Siegfried and Goy. Siegfried and Goy. Great. You know what? Hold on. Let's see. Wife says I need to wrap it up. We've got some family Christmas event to go to. I'm gonna pick up tomorrow. Well, we're 21. We're 29 away from the goal. If we hit the goal in the next 9, oh no, that's not the right time. The next 10 minutes, I'll stream tomorrow. If we hit the goal. If we break the 300 goal, I'll stream tomorrow. I want to cover. If not, I'll have to. Who knows when it could be? Because not sure what's going on with the Christmas schedule. We're going to cover this Professor Zhang. He blew up to almost 1 million followers on YouTube in the last 2 years, and his possible Russia connections and some of the disinfo he's spreading to a very large audience. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into this Christian disinfo agent that's got arrested in Canada. Brandon Tyler Moore. We got that girl. Oh, let's do this.
Look up to his quote from our online commentator Nick Fuentes. If you believe that Hitler was pretty fucking cool, you have no place in the future of the conservative movement. You can debate foreign aid to Israel all you want. That's fine. That's fair. But you have no place with that level of hatred. You can debate the right resolution of the Russia-Ukraine war, but if you believe Joseph Stalin is someone to look up to, you have no place in the future of the conservative movement. If you call Usha Vance, the second lady of the United States of America, a Jeet, you have no place in the future of the conservative movement.
No anti-Indian slurs. You could say that whites, like he tweeted out last Christmas, he's like, whites are lazy and stupid and we need immigrants to take these jobs. Dirty Rick, is this you? The church had to keep the Bible from the Europeans and do Mass in Latin for over 1,000 years because the text is explicitly anti-European. Yep. They're like, look at these stained glass windows, Goy. Just that's where you get your story from. Let's see. Am I missing any others? Was that the only one, Dirty Rick? Was that you? Rick, you said that your thing wasn't playing. I apologize if any of these didn't play. Obviously, we're having issues today with the super chats not reading or playing correctly. Not sure what the deal is.
And if you can't say those things without stuttering, then you have no place as a leader at any level in the conservative movement either. Certainly not in my state of Ohio. Quote from our...
Wow. Oh, did he throw it down? Is that some shade at J.D. Vance, who said he's not going to disavow anybody? He has disavowed Nick before, though, actually. Uh-oh, hold on. Here it is.
At Mar-a-Lago. In your own movement, that's what I want to ask about, because one of the supremacists who was saying things like this about your family, Nick Fuentes, an avowed anti-Semite.
Sure. Avowed.
He had previously dined at Mar-a-Lago with Donald Trump. Does this have any room in your movement, in the MAGA movement?
Of course it doesn't have any room in the MAGA movement, and of course...
You disavow him and this.
And of course Donald Trump has criticized this person. Look, I think the guy's a total loser. Certainly I disavow him, but if you ask me what I care more about, is it a person attacking me personally, or is it government policy that discriminates based on race? That's what I really worry about.
In your own movement, that's what I want to ask about.
Yo, Babatu. Hail Odin, hail No More News, F Palantir, loving TPUSA. Thank you so much. We smashed the goal. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Easternish. Look out for the link. Thank you, Babatu. I want to stream really bad tomorrow, but it takes sometimes it takes some little mild threats to hit the goal and keep Miss No More News happy. Thank you, brother. Or sister, Babatu. I don't really know. Appreciate it. We hit the goal. Big shout out. Big Christmas thank you. Big Yule thank you to everybody. Thank you. Bill Mayer also talking about Fuentes. Oh, this is a long one. Maybe we'll do that one next show. Dude, I have a bunch of Australia stuff to cover too.
For me, having conversations about U.S.-Israel policy, I mean, that's what I do for a living. I enjoy that. I'm never going to get upset with an American citizen for asking me questions about a policy, as long as they'll at least listen to my answer. They don't agree with me. If they'll listen and engage, of course, we welcome those conversations. But
no, you don't.
From a lot of the things that are being repeatedly said, not just by Nick Fuentes, but others in this world, which is that Jews are malignant, that they are trying to control America and the world, and they have no evidence of this, largely because it's not true, but also because they're not required to actually document it. You mentioned some of the other kind of faux historians. As a historian myself, I find that pretty offensive, that you have people coming along and just deciding they're going to make up whatever historical facts they want based on largely coincidences, if they even have that.
Coincidences.
And then coming on as if there's some great alternative voice because they have no actual basis in real history, which, as we know, is very difficult because you're trying to piece together the best possible version of past events with an imperfect record. And so you have to be extremely rigorous about that record, what you do have, if you're going to write persuasive history. So I think that's part of the danger.
I can't handle it
here, and making sure that, when we have disagreements, as civilly as we can,
Okay, I can't handle anymore. I'm sorry. Senator Graham's over in Israel says, you can't be president if you're not pro-Israel. We know.
I can't imagine a nominee in 2028 being the Republican nominee. If you want to run for president as a Republican in 2028 and you don't show strong support for Israel, I don't think you can win. To our friends on the Democratic side, I hope you'll up your game. I hope you'll realize that Israel's not the problem. The problem for
This
peace
is my
is not
face at
Israel.
76.
I
No
can't
makeup,
imagine
no filter,
a nominee
just one
in
ginger
2028 being the Republican nominee. I hope you'll realize if you want to run for president as a Republican.
Okay.
Media, to be honest, is a sewer.
Mike Maccabee Cuckabee calls out the anti-Semitic trolls on Twitter.
Social media, to be honest, is a sewer. It's like if you took your meals from the sewer, you're going to get sick. And we got a lot of people eating right out of the sewer. And it's no wonder that they're sick. And when I say sick, I mean their minds are sick. They're depraved and diseased with this idea that somehow Israel is the bad guy. And social media, to be honest, is a sewer. It's like if you took your meals from the...
Have you guys seen Dave Chappelle's new is this Netflix comedy? He calls out Bill Maher and Israel killing journalists.
Betrayed my principles. Well,
Jewish. I love how he attacks Bill Maher, but again then calls him a crack-ass. Number one Netflix comedy special. Okay, let's get this turned down. I hate when people post clips. They're too quiet. Let's hear this guy. This Zionist dude. Whatever he's doing with his forehead here.
Manipulated into foreign wars by...
Did we cover this guy a couple streams ago after the Australia attack? Like the day before, he was saying, oh, mass immigration is good. London is safe. He feels safe in London. And then Australia gets attacked and he goes, I don't feel safe in London. And then I love how after a Muslim attacks Jews in Australia, they're all spinning this and turning it on an attack against white people. Now he's saying Muslims and Jews need to team up against Nick Fuentes and whites.
A conspiracy theory that thinks that the United States has been manipulated into foreign wars by a small elite, as it happens Jewish, is one that sort of denies the whole process of liberal democracy, and it might do the same in this country. And it's also that kind of disrespect for one ethnic group will apply to others, even if they don't like Jews. So for Muslims who don't like, some of whom don't like Jews, a proportion of whom don't like Jews, this will visit them, probably has visited them. And so people like Nick Fuentes, who are coming for me, are coming for all of you. I put up with this stuff, not
coming for me.
It has definitely been a bit.
You recorded a 1 minute segment for Pierce Morgan to address Nick Fuentes, and then they respond and they're coming for you.
I put up with this stuff, I wouldn't say happily. It has definitely been a bit distressing, Lewis, definitely. This is particularly horrible because it has things like my dad's head on a lampshade or calling my mum a bar of soap. And it's really, I only share those. They're almost hard to spit out just so that people understand how disgusting it was. A conspiracy theory that thinks that the United...
Is that the one where he says team up with Muslims? I guess it's not. That was a different one. Shoot, I don't have that one. What else do we have? Them calling Nick Fuentes, Bill Maher calling Nick Fuentes Hitler. All right, here we go.
I don't care.
Come on, how much time do I have? 3 minutes before I have to roll.
Says crazy things. Why does a person say crazy things who wears bow ties?
I want to ask you about another character, which is Tucker.
Oh, this is the Zionist girl, right?
What happened to Tucker?
I feel like a lot of people ask that question. I'm the last one who would know what's in his mind. I don't think I've seen him in person since Politically Incorrect. Oh, maybe he did one of the early years of Real Time, but I'm sure I haven't seen him in 20 years or something. He seems very elusive, and does he live in an undisclosed location or something? I don't know. I don't know. I don't care. He obviously says crazy things. Why does a person say crazy things who wears bow ties or used to? I don't know, maybe, is it the bow tie? I don't know what's causing it. But it doesn't really matter because, you know, he's a little dangerous in the fact that he has a following and, you know, to your mentioning of platforming, it's one thing to have Nick Fuentes on, although I, at this point, wouldn't myself. But, you know, then you gotta at least quote the guy back about his, you know, Nazi, you know, leanings and forgiveness and even cheerleading for, you know, Trump is not Hitler. That little prick is Hitler.
Nick Fuentes.
Yeah.
I agree. But someone
I
like
agree.
Tucker, how did he go from a pretty normal
Literally, he's literally Hitler.
to, you know, spewing complete conspiracy theories? I would argue he is more than a little bit dangerous.
I assume
Hitler was a Catholic podcaster. Doesn't everybody know that?
You know, there's a guaranteed audience for that. Candace Owens, you know, I mean.
Do you think they actually believe what they're saying, or it's just good business?
I think Candace, I think she kind of does, which is a little, I don't know which is worse. If you really believe it, or if you're, but my guess is she really believes it and he really doesn't. I mean, did Alex Jones, you know, I mean, there's obviously a number of these people who are just dare their audience to find someone who is more out there. Go ahead. I am not going to come in second in a crazy contest.
How do you measure the line for you of who you have on and not? You said you wouldn't have Fuentes on. Would you have Tucker on?
Tucker, yes. I'd love to have him on. I mean, our emissaries, our papal viscounts have talked, and you know, there was moments where it seemed like he was either going to do this or something, but they were very.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I think it was always bullshit. I mean, I think he's a.
This is the guy that offered to be a propagandist for Netanyahu, by the way.
Afraid. I mean, if I was him, I'd be afraid to talk to me too.
This uber Zionist.
Not that I'd be mean. I'm not mean to anybody. I mean, there's not.
This is the guy that's celebrating London being replaced with diversity.
Who sat here, including Anna Kasparian, who doesn't wind up laughing like most of the show. We're always laughing. We were laughing a lot. That one got very heated for 15 minutes, but she demanded that. But no, I mean, Tucker would have a great time like everybody does at Club Random. There's nothing you can do that's more fun than getting.
Yeah, Nick is far from a Nazi. For them to sum it up like that. And then last one, here's a clip. Nick on what biblical masculinity is about. Let's hear this. Need More Amalek was telling me about it.
Biblical masculinity involves Samson killing 100 people, David killing a giant, and Jesus whipping people.
Yeah, they forgot that then they worked out. In the Bible, they did deadlifts, and they ate raw eggs, and they beat people up. Biblical masculinity is based.
Typical bro.
Yes, he knows it's not.
Like, the Bible tells men to be feminine. Like, let's just be honest.
Yes, we're being honest. Remember he said, like, you can't read the Bible. You have to have your priest explain it to you. And he said the Bible needs gatekeepers. Dude, it's like Nick is going through a transformation the last couple years. Honest moment. Need More Amalek says, we can just use Nick clips to argue with them. I know, dude, that's so funny.
The Bible tells men to be feminine. Like, let's be honest.
Let's just be honest.
Let's just be honest.
Typical bro.
Good one.
Hey, Nick.
Let's not cope about it. The Bible is not a story of like men being jacked and going to the gym. Okay.
Typical bro.
Yep.
Start there.
Hey, Nick. Right you here.
Yeah, it's being eunuchs that do nothing but pray. That's so good. Thank you for that little bit of honor. Dude, Nick is like pagan posting. What did I do? What did I post the other day? I want to look for it. I said something about, what did I say? I'll just search Fuentes. There was another clip it's like he's a closet pagan now. Seriously. The Catholic stuff is just a LARP to manipulate people. All right, where's my clip? Here it is. Nick embracing the neo-pagan right accusations. Let's see here.
Get high and watch Bob Ross. Dude, we gotta get high and watch Bob Ross. Fuck you. Our ancestors would beat the fuck out of you. Our Viking and Roman ancestors would beat you to death if they could see what you're doing right now.
Yep. You weak pussy
We're
Christians.
subsistence farmers and Vikings and legionaries.
We was Vikings. Nick is like, we was Vikings. Let's go. We was Vikings. Our Viking ancestors would crush this feminine pussy Christian shit.
And they marched and they took over Europe and they built an empire. And you want to hang out. You want to hang out and get high. I feel bad for you. I would feel bad for you if I didn't hate you and want to destroy your being. Dude, we gotta get.
Dude, I think there's even more. Fuentes would have called Jesus a loser. He probably will. That'll be next.
Of Jesus, he would have called Jesus a loser. If he lived in the days
He's calling Christianity feminine.
Of Jesus, he would have called Jesus a loser. If he lived in the
True. So true, Arvel. Let's see. I thought I had one more good clip. Confirms Christians are spiritual Jews. Oh, where's the other one? Here's another one. Look at this. He's
Europeans left. There's not a lot of Catholic Europeans left. A lot of these young Europeans are very pagan, very anti-Jesus.
So true. So true. Love to hear it. We love to hear all these pagan. Catholicism, very brown, very feminine and brown, Nick says. I can't find the one where it says that they need gatekeepers. I bet you if I look, I know I have to wrap it up right now. Wife's going to be mad. She said 2:00, but I want to go to Need More Amalek's page and see the clip of him saying they need gatekeepers from these accounts. Need More Amalek. I hope that's how it's spelled. Fuentes gatekeepers. Let's see. Damn it. Amalek, if you're out there. All right. It's not coming up. All right, guys. That is all we have for today. Almost a 3-hour show. Still didn't cover it all. I have so much to cover. For tomorrow, same time, same place. Give us a like, a share, a subscribe. Clip the show. Tell your friends. Sign up for Subscribestar in the link down below. Shout out everybody that helped me make the goal tonight. I love you all. I hope you guys have a nice night, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.